Nordic folklore tells of a mythical creature possessing mighty strength and magical power. It was believed to be only a myth. Until now.
Switchmania Playcast.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Switchmania Playcast.
The troll episode.
Yeah, I'm subtitling this one Trash or Treasure? Question mark.
What a great way to start the episode.
The trash? Or is it treasure? Oh my goodness. JP says we're gonna have polarizing thoughts on this game. Let's see if JP's
I think we will.
Let's see if JP's a good analyst. All right, so
I'm probably not.
Let's start everything with feedback from last episode and things that we've had go on. So first of all, I wanted to mention we had the first contest winner who did the custom theme, and they got their game and posted their game. So I know JP has more info on that. Yes,
so we gave away a Amazon UK exclusive of Lego Movie 2 with with the Lego figure inside a special collectible box. So we sent that off. The winner posted it on Twitter, so thank you. And that was our very first contest, and it was great because he made the JP Switchmania Playcast theme song through Animal Crossing, which I thought was really, really creative, really cool. So yeah, we're happy to get that winner, and I hope he enjoys the game.
And some keen listeners may have heard that at an earlier episode.
Mm-hmm.
Threw that up. So another thing is, and we're going to go in depth on this a little later, but JP posted the first preview link that we mentioned at the end of episode 13 for the Switch Collector book. And essentially, it's switchopedia.com is where you can find all information on the Switch Collector book. There's been tons of feedback, to say the least.
That's awesome. I like just on the Switch Collector page itself on Kickstarter, there was feedback, but also on Facebook, on Twitter, on the Discord. I mean, it was great. I mean, I loved all the responses, and you could tell people are really excited for this. I mean, we are obviously, but it's so great to see the community getting behind this as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it was like, to say the least, I was answering questions like Saturday, and the best part about it is these questions are going to make the campaign better because, not only am I addressing and is JP addressing questions, but we're also clarifying the campaign so that future people that go to it aren't going to have the same questions.
Right, and I like that, we did this about a month in advance, which is good, like you're saying. We can clarify, but that means we also have time to change the descriptions on the page, so when it does go live, those questions aren't going to come up. And it should be very clear as to, what the tiers are, what the pledges are, what the book's really, all about. And I like that because sometimes, you don't get to see the Kickstarter until that day, and instantly you start kind of reading and maybe you're confused on one or two things, so you have to pose the question and wait for the response. And, it's good to just get that out of the way. So, on September 10th, which is what we announced as the go live date, it should just be ready to rock and roll.
Exactly. And, the thing is that I'm continually adding stuff, and I know we're going to be posting little did you knows and tidbits every week leading up to it as well.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yep. Another thing that I had for feedback is literally like right before the recording, and we're recording a day early this week. Starquail actually gave me some clarification and feedback based on our episode on Tiny Barbarian.
Ooh.
Yeah. So basically,
I have not heard about this yet.
What he said was Hey, now getting around to the episode, just wanted to let you know regarding references. Maybe this is something we can touch on in the book interview you mentioned. Hint, hint, hint. But when I was listing the references I felt were most intentional, I guess I forgot some because the ones you mentioned were also pretty intentional. I wouldn't boast contain so many references I forgot to count some, but I guess maybe that's true. It basically said the game came out so long ago that he's actually had time to forget things, which is pretty funny. He also forgot to mention that, and I didn't even notice this one, was during the Tiny Barbarina entry event when you start the level. He doesn't know if it comes through like this, but it basically wanted to be like the start of Metal Gear Solid 2, where Raiden is still using the Snake name as he sneaks in and then reveals himself in the elevator.
Oh, that's awesome.
She actually did that and jumped out of the robot and everything and revealed it as her. So it was really awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, so super cool. And also very excited that Tiny Barbarian is on the cover of the Switch Collector Volume 1. He did not do that. He was like, oh my god. So it was super rad. And then also going to supply some I don't know if it's necessarily exclusive, but some artwork for inclusion in the book. So if we get to the 2-page spreads or the end sheet printing, which means printing on the inside of the cover, we actually could have some Tiny Barbarian exclusive, not necessarily exclusive, but custom art sent from the creators.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, so we need to hit that because I really want to see that work.
New reveal right there.
Yes.
And of course, as always, 5-star ratings on iTunes or at least a review of some kind is always appreciated. What feedback do you have, JP? Because I know you got a bunch too.
Yeah, I think we got one of the best feedback I've seen so far. I mean, it's always great to hear people enjoying the show and listening and being caught up. But there was one on Twitter that actually came out after our episode, and it was from @Closeable8, and he wrote, "I love your guys' feedback or podcast. I listened to 4 episodes today at work. It made me want to buy Tiny Barbarian." So I said, "Thank you so much. Tiny Barbarian's a great game. It's only $20, definitely worth it." So he said, "Your guys' voice kept me awake. You two have great insights on a ton of Switch topics. You two also seem very passionate about the Switch and definitely Switchopedia." So thank you very much @Closeable8. That's amazing feedback. I mean, we love knowing that people are enjoying the show, and especially now that the book has been announced, we're just so happy to hear positive feedback about just people interested in it based off of what they've seen on the Kickstarter page. So, and I've seen a lot of feedback of people saying they were going to go back to Tiny Barbarian or check it out.
Absolutely.
So I think that's great. I mean, it's definitely, I would say, one of my top indie games at this point for the Switch. And, there's so many out there, and I'm still just getting around to playing just the physical releases, let alone any digital releases. But, I mean, just playing it last week, it's definitely up there for me as one that's just a must-own for the Switch in any version, and one that, like I said, I want to keep in my case until I beat it.
Absolutely, and the fact that, that has all the goodies released with it by Nicalis, and it just had the perfect version released of the game, which is amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely. Anything else with news? Like with the housekeeping feat?
Housekeeping? No, I mean, I think we'll get more into the book a little bit later.
Is it time?
It's time for Troll and I.
Oh my lord.
And that's where everyone turns off the episode right now. They can't bear to hear about Troll and I. But no, I'm actually excited to talk about this one. It's been one of those games that's just in the Switch core community. I don't know how it started. I honestly don't know who first took Troll and I as like the mascot kind of joke thing. But I mean, for the longest time now, you always hear about this game. You always see people tweeting about it, telling people they can get it. It's just kind of like that running joke. And I thought, what? It's finally time that I played this game, and what better way to play it than by making you play it as well, and us talking about it.
Damn you.
You're welcome.
So shall we lay the quick groundwork, the wallpaper, as it may say.
Yes, please.
So, Troll and I is an action-adventure video game developed by Spiral House and published by Maximum Games, originally on the PS4, Windows, and Xbox One in March of 2017, and came over to the Switch in August of 2017. Supports both single-player and cooperative if you want to subject somebody else to this game. What was the classic quote that it said? It was like, the best game of E3 2016, and like it was like all this craziness, and then like everything you see on it from trailers and everything makes it like epic, which I'm absolutely going to include some epic music from the trailer at the end of this episode, to trail us off, because what you heard and what you're probably finishing up hearing now is the intro song for the title screen, and it has like even crunchiness on that. So like it's just classic. Like and the thing is the Switch community has definitely had its way with us. So how much of this game, JP, were you able to play?
So there's really no walkthrough online, because I looked tonight to see how far I had gotten, and for whatever reason, I don't think anyone has completed creating a walkthrough for this game, but I would say I put in about 3 to 4 hours, and I can tell you where I am to see
where
if you've gotten further or not.
Yeah.
So I got into the troll cave. I exited the troll cave.
Okay.
And now I'm like on the ledge, and we're just trying to navigate around the mountain to still head back to Otto's home. So that's where I am, and I would say, like, looking through all the, like, picking up all the pieces and the collectibles, I put in about 3 to 4 hours so far.
So I just exited the troll cave myself, and then that's when that's when I stopped. And I looked around. I did find a little bit of like a full video walkthrough of a 8-hour progress. Didn't watch it this time, but I would say we're about a quarter of the way through. We're about a quarter of the way. Yeah, so
we're making progress.
And I was literally like, I didn't get it in the mail until yesterday. So I played it yesterday, and then I played it again today before the recording, so I could be fresh on it. So first things first, immediately when I started this up, it was completely stuttering. Like, all the videos and everything were like juddering around and moving real like crazy, and the whole game was completely unplayable. And I literally sent JP a freaking video, and I'm like, is your game doing this? Is this what Trolling is? Is this why people are like trashing it? Like, I can't even play this. Like, you can't even watch it. I thought it was just a video or something. I'm like, oh god, here we go. But I literally rebooted my entire system, and then everything was fine.
So let me ask you, what version was your game? Because you mentioned you updated it, right?
I updated it immediately. I always do that with my Switch games, is I always update it to the latest version.
Okay, because I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't. I think actually I know why, because I was at work and I couldn't download an update anyway if there was one. So I just started with, and I think on the cartridge it was just version 1. And did you play it handheld or docked?
I played it in handheld mode.
Okay, I did too. And yeah, when you sent that to me, I said no, not at all. I mean, I was playing it in my car at lunch, and it played smoothly. I mean, we'll get into, I guess, like just the choppiness of the game overall in terms of the movements, but the intro movie played fine for me. Like, I enjoyed it, and I didn't notice anything. So when you sent me that video, I said, oh yeah, that's nothing like what I've seen on mine.
Yeah, that's really weird.
That was just the beginning.
Really weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, and after that though, there was no issues. So to me, the graphics, they're like PS2 era, and the voiceover is super awkward to me. The main character basically tells you what is going on throughout the entire game instead of letting the player just experience it. Like, he's looking at the troll and it's like, oh yeah, you probably want to walk over here, don't you, guy? And then he's saying it in his accent, and the accent's like a little weird.
Aside from the dreadlocks and the voice, my initial impression of the environment, the landscape, the semi-open world, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I liked the graphics, and yeah, it was old school, but it wasn't off-putting to me.
And you like old school too. You made
I
me
do like
play back in
old school.
1995, so
I honestly today I was actually thinking that as we were going to talk about, I said, how am I going to compare this, like in terms of the actual character movements? And I was going to reference 1995 and say like that was just very blocky and choppy and just not enjoyable. But this, it wasn't the smoothest, but I didn't think it was bad movements for the characters. And I really enjoyed the unchartedness of when you're jumping from platforms or you're scaling the mountains or the rock walls. I thought they were pretty cool.
yeah, I actually wrote down that the gameplay is surprisingly playable with a question mark. Like, I had no issues with the gameplay. Like, everybody's saying it's choppy, or like one commenter wrote, "Good luck hunting boars," and like literally once I realized, oh, you just aim a little high and center, like it was fine. I didn't miss.
Shanna's shaking her fist because she was doing her tweet-sized review, and her first game was Troll and I. And after 2 hours of trying to kill the 2 boars, she just quit.
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely, it was not an issue.
Boring ever.
It is not boring.
Totally boring.
Well, I mean, if all you were doing was trying to hunt the boars, I could see that it would be a little boring. Like,
That was all I was trying to do was hunt those boars.
She's not a very good, move 2 things at once on the screen kind of player.
I can't multitask when gaming.
Yeah. And it's funny, she was playing it and then she fell asleep. It was on. She woke up and she's like, "I'm done. I can't even kill this." Did you even kill the first boar? No. So she goes. There was 2. So she goes upstairs, and I quickly just take the game. I hadn't played it yet because we hadn't even decided on this. I quickly kill the 2 boars. I go upstairs and I said, "What's your problem? They're dead." But Otto was so funny. He's like, "Come on, boar. I must feed my family."
I've heard that 14 million times. 14
as I said,
million times.
so awkward the voice word.
Yeah. He's like, I mean, there's just some things in the game early on that I just didn't understand. So, for instance, when he's coming back from hunting and then the fire happens in his village and the tree falls in front of him and his mother is trapped and he's just hugging the tree going I can't get to you, and the mother's like, "Just run away." I'm thinking there's so many openings that I see that you could kind of quickly grab your mother and just get out. And I know it was supposed to emphasize, the fire is burning and you just have no way of getting in. But I was just looking, I'm like, all right, that log isn't burning. You could probably jump over it pretty quickly and then you're good to go. But that part I thought was a little fun. And I love the sliding in the beginning when you're just sliding down the mountain.
I purposely crashed him into a log once just to see what would happen.
I didn't. I mean, I ended up crashing a lot of times. The animation was pretty cool when he died. I mean, it's not cool that he died, but I mean, it was very animated, and I was actually surprised that I think this is T-rated. And aside from him crashing into rocks and dying and whatnot, even the troll killing, stomping and crushing I'll call them orcs or goblins or people. It's pretty gruesome.
You're cutting off heads and stuff too, with your different weapons.
Uh-huh.
So here's the thing. So where JP thinks we're gonna have polarizing opinions. So I wrote here, this is a classic case of all gamers taking the initial reviewer reactions and making it law. The thing is that everybody trashed this game based on the first version. The thing is, the developers and the publishers seem to have worked on it to fix things through the updates, and it's quote unquote not terrible. Is what I put, and I said, let's explain. So I'm assuming that that's where you're going, is that you actually didn't mind it too much.
No, this is one of those games where I was going in expecting to just have so many problems. And there was one feedback, and I'll read it again later, but she had mentioned that at one point she just fell through the floor and, it kind of glitched on her. And that actually had happened to me at that point, because after you and the troll, find each other, you're walking through the forest and there's I guess I'll call them goblins. I don't know if they ever really explain what these creatures are, but they're coming out of the ground, right? So it's the blue light, and they're climbing out, and you can close the portal or whatever you want to call it by having the troll throw a rock at it. So Otto was standing by it. I switched over to the troll. I threw the rock, so it closed it up. And out of nowhere, the ground is gone, and I'm just like floating in like mid-space ground. And I couldn't turn around. I couldn't move. I couldn't switch back, and I had to restart the game. But that was the only time that I really had something.
So I said the ether.
Ether.
So I had a bunch of glitches, but I said it was kind of slow moving, but not broken. There's a few glitches that I had. One of mine was like falling to a ledge over and over and over again. So basically, like, you move over to a ledge and like you would like fall off of it and hang.
Yes.
And then when you climb back up, you'll fall back down and you climb back up. So you had to like switch to the troll, and then as he was climbing up, and then when you switched back, he would be standing up there. Like, I had to like manipulate.
Okay, I had the same. Yeah, I had the same problem, and it was that first time when Otto climbs and you're learning how to jump from ledge to ledge. I had the same thing. I wanted to jump to the next ledge, but instead, I guess the game knows if it's a ledge that you can jump to, or if you're automatically gonna kind of just jump down and hang. So that happened to me. I hung down, and then when I tried to get up, I immediately fell back down, and I grabbed the ledge. So for me, what I did is I kind of just shifted Otto a little bit on the ledge and tried again, and it eventually worked. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then the other one is where I got stuck on a puzzle. So inside the troll cave, you have the troll, and you push him.
Yes.
And you're pushing the room, like you push the room in a circle.
Yep.
And one of the times when I was pushing it around, I went to press the button to have the troll step away from it, and the troll like just froze, and I could like move some stuff around a slight bit, but I absolutely could not do anything else. I couldn't change characters. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything else. Like, it was
that's interesting.
Weird. So I could do I could like pause the game, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally had to restart the game. I thought it was going to restart me like way far back, like to when I entered the troll cave. So I gave up yesterday. It actually only put me back to the beginning of the puzzle section. So when I started it today, I was like, oh, it's not too bad. So it didn't take me back too far.
And that was the weird thing, because the first time I died, I thought that I would start back right where I was, and I'll tell you which part that was. But I ended up starting way back, and to me that was a little disheartening. So what happened was, after your initial ledge jump, you know how you're crossing the bridge breaks, and then this is when you start using the troll to hold the plane wing through multiple parts, like between the gaps, and you have Otto cross. So you finally get all the way to the end, and it's the first time you see rock wall. So Otto walks around it. He has to jump down, kill a few of the creatures. And I died because it was the first time this creature with a sword came, and I didn't realize that the instructions said you had to parry when the sword glows white. So I ended up dying, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I saw a little cutscene. I thought I was going to start right back from there. But instead, I started all the way at the beginning of the forest when you're learning how to jump from ledge to ledge. I mean, that was a good, 10 minutes, I thought, of maneuvering everybody around. And to me, I was just like, oh, wow, I didn't think they would have me start that far back. But after that, I learned very quickly how to parry, so that wouldn't happen again.
And just so listeners are tracking, just in classic Troll and I fashion, JP's audio was glitching partially through that. It was great.
I don't know what's going on.
Like when you're doing the long talks, it glitches a little bit. I don't know. It's great.
I don't breathe, so I just keep talking and talking and talking.
It's classics. We're gonna have some fun Troll and I glitches throughout this episode, everybody. AKA my daughter's probably on Minecraft, and my wife's probably on the internet using it. So,
don't they know we're filming Switchmania Playcast?
Ah, damn it. So one thing is listeners should be aware that right when you get to the troll, it's almost a little ambiguous of what you do. At first, if you watch the trailer or any of the videos, you kind of know you gotta grab the plane wing and carry it
no
somewhere,
instructions.
but there is no instructions. So
I only knew to do that because on the back of the case he's holding up the plane wing. And it's the image that says co-op or, you work together. So I knew that, but yeah, there was no instructions whatsoever what to do. It was kind of just figure it out on your own, which, okay, games can do that. But sometimes it's weird because they teach you how to jump from ledge to ledge. They teach you how to access all your inventory, but they don't tell you how to do the first puzzle.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we have any listener feedback for this episode? Let's see if we can keep JP from glitching.
Sure. Okay. I said...
All right. Pause. I'm going to switch over again. All right. Continue.
So this week on JP Switchmania Twitter, I asked the question, hey, Gonzalez and I will be playing Troll and I from Maximum Games on this week's episode. We want to know if you've played it, and if so, what are your thoughts? So we had 174 votes, and actually we ended up recording a day early, so there's still 14 hours left, but I think this is a good representation. So we had 7% say they played it, so not that many. 9% said they own it, but they haven't played it. 2% said they would play it this week, and 82% said nope.
So here's the funny thing, is if this game is getting thoroughly trashed by the community, but nobody's played it. So it's just like an ongoing joke that they watched a couple of YouTubers review this and trash it because they were having issues with it. Well, that's one thing, but like, I like to form my own opinions because I don't trust what the media tells me.
Right. And because of that feedback we got, I actually started a second poll, and I said, after seeing some initial comments on our Troll and I poll, which we are going to read, and I said, I want to ask a new question. Will you not play a game solely based on reviews you've read? So we had 375 votes to this one with 22 hours left. And 16% of people said, I'll just trust the reviews. 35% said, I'll try it for myself. And 49% said 50-50. And you're right. I was very surprised because I pictured so many people saying that they would have played the game already, and then we would see negative comments below. But 7% of 174 people, which is nothing, it's not a big population. And I'm just wondering who's really played this game and who has just kind of made it into a joke. So
it's fun. It's fun to jump on the bandwagon, but it also kind of is dragging the troll through the proverbial mud.
It is. So let's see what some of the feedback was.
Yeah.
So at Trev_G1, he said, here is a quote from my Pure Nintendo review where I scored the game 2 out of 10. The troll looks like an egg beater was taken to 80s pop culture. His body is similar to Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. His face looks like E.T. from E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if he wrote anything else. No, he did. So
I agree. Looks terrible.
Yeah.
There's no question.
So Jeffrey Wittenhagen said, yeah, I don't know what's with the dreadlocks. Such a weird choice, and why I didn't care for the Bionic Commando reboot from years back either. So then at Smeagol and the Heads. Also, I just want to thank him, Smeag and the Heads. I want to thank him because he's always giving us feedback. So thank you for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, he said, I've heard the Switch version is awful, so I didn't end up buying it, which goes to your point right now, is that it's getting such a bad reputation that people are solely not even attempting to play the game just because they've heard it's bad. And
yeah, I mean,
sometimes
there are graphical glitches. There's times where I back up and I could see through the troll's head, or but I was expecting that because of the bad rep. So maybe it's because my expectations were so low that I was pleasantly surprised that it was not terrible. I'm not saying it was good. I'm saying it was not terrible. Weird. Right. Maybe, that would be the quote. Hey, Gonzalez says not terrible? ? With a quote.
Right. So at Sailor_James said, is it possible to complete it? And then I did a gif of the world may never know with the Tootsie Roll Pop.
True.
At the Lord Raylis said, finished and completed. It's not the worst game ever, just super dated. Should have been released for the PS2 or early Xbox 360.
100% right.
Yeah. At JP Trini Pose said, crashed too many times, never finished it. I asked him when did it start crashing for him, since I was at the beginning at that point. So he said a little after getting back to camp, after the slide part. I think it's been a while since I tried going back to it.
So that could have been before the patches right there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't know what version everyone's playing with. I mean, I'm playing with version 1, and I'm at this point, 3-4 hours in, I'm not experiencing that many issues that a lot of people are saying that they've seen. But let's keep going. So at Link_Rocks1988 said, I'm too damn poor to buy Switch games since they damn expensive, and I have a poop job and paying for college, so I don't have time for video games as much, but I'm playing my old N64 as much as I can when I'm a barista at a coffee cupcake shop on campus. Okay. I said, cool. Did you play Troll Knight, though? I don't know. At Rebecca_Artemis said, I bought it and tried playing it, but I died a couple of times from weird glitches, like falling through the floor, and I gave up. I didn't get far into it all, to be honest. And that's when I responded and said, that's exactly what happened to me. I blew up a rock, and all of a sudden, I'm falling through the floor. So at JCityDGaff said, this was a game I was interested in at first, looked like I had potential to be great, but then the reviews started coming in, 2s and 3s. I don't know if I've ever seen a game review so poorly. I also saw some super laggy gameplay that may have already been patched out. I don't know, but yeah. So I said, did you ever get to play it once you read the reviews, or did you stop at that point? And he said, the reviews turned me off from playing it. If it's patched up and fixed, I wouldn't be opposed to giving it another shot. I think it's on sale for like $5 on the eShop, if I'm not mistaken. Can't be worse than WWE 2K18 on the Switch.
Am I right?
But, that was just very interesting because, yeah, I honestly thought we would get a lot of responses of people who had played it and then just didn't like it. But when I saw that not that many who answered the poll had actually tried it out, it makes me believe that, one person said it was bad, 2 people said it was bad, it starts becoming a joke, and then everyone just automatically assumes, oh, you mentioned Troll Knight, that's that game. That game's not that good.
I mean, I just remember a lot of video, reviewers, the ones that, jump on every new game and new thing and review it real quick. They, posted videos and stuff of it, running terribly. And if it,
and it could have,
and well, the thing is one of the videos was absolutely the stutter thing, and all I did was reboot it once, and then the stutter went away.
Right.
So, if they just didn't know to reboot the system, and then they trashed the game, I don't know. I'm a beta tester by heart too, though, so I'm gonna try to make the thing work.
Yeah, and I mean, there's. Not jumping away from the feedback, but there's one part that I've seen in the game that I just don't understand if I'm doing it wrong, if it's a glitch in the game. So I want to ask you, because maybe you've been able to do what I couldn't, but there's green walls to explode and there's blue walls. And in the game, there's green crystals, right? So you make a spear with the green shard, you throw it at the rock wall, it explodes, it opens up a new pathway. Same thing with the blue, I thought, because in the troll cave, there are these blue little crystal patches, but I could never mine them.
The blue ones?
And I have not been able to open up any blue wall.
I would assume that it's going to have some Metroidvania-style backtracking where eventually you're going to get the blue crystal and be able to go back.
You think so?
Which, if they do that, that would be a slow walk backward. That is something that a PS2 era game would do to pad its length.
I mean, the movements weren't that fast, but I felt once you did the running, so you hold L and you're running, I thought it moved pretty quickly. I mean, there's a stamina bar, so you do slow down after a little bit of time, but overall, I didn't think that I was moving too slow. It was just monotonous and just, all right, I'm trudging along, nothing's happening. I always felt that, the next wave of enemies was close enough that when I ran, it was only, a minute or so between action scenes. So that part didn't bother me that much. And, growing up on PS1 games and PS2 games, this wasn't so far removed from enjoyability for me at all.
Yeah. Do we have any more feedback?
Not from that poll. I mean, the other poll that I did was just about the, will you play a game based on reviews?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
we got Yeah, we got some good responses to that. And some valid ones that people don't have a lot of money, so they have to read reviews. Not have to, but they read reviews to see if this game is worth their money, and that's fair because
not a bad idea.
No, not a bad idea. We can read just a few of them. So we'll just start at the beginning. So at Kaiokin21 said, I usually judge the game for myself when I play it. I only watch reviews for the early gameplay footage. I barely trust those reviewers who was given the game for free. Your reviews seem to be fair to me, though. So thank you. We do try and be fair at JP Switchmania. My reviewers do get the codes for free, but I always tell them, review it fairly. I mean, we don't just give out 10s. We've given out low scores.
Well,
we give out,
this wasn't posted as a Switchmania Playcast poll, right? It was just a poll for your Twitter, right?
Yeah, it was just Twitter, just based off of the initial Troll and I reviews.
Well, the original Troll and I poll was for the Playcast, though. So was the comment talking about the Playcast reviews, or are they talking about your JP Switchmania website reviews?
Oh, that last comment was about my website.
Oh, so the second poll was that, because we do review every game that we talk about too. So
yes. I had posed the question more so just as a generalization to see what people do, not so much about our reviews.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Of the game.
Because you are Carly Simon sometimes. So
that's true. So
let's see if any
Megan the Head said
that, by the way.
Both reviews. I didn't. It went over my head. I'm just laughing.
Oh, so there's a song by Carly Simon. Look it up.
All right, I will. Or someone tweet me what he's talking about, please. Okay, so Megan the Head said, if both reviews and word of mouth are universally negative, I usually skip it. At Niels_Pokeboy said, most of the time, I watch like 10 reviews before buying a game. It doesn't help that I'm a small budget, so I can't play everything. Then I take the reviews in mind when buying the games. That's fair. At _essential said, the more I've been seeing Troll and I posts here, the more I want to try it. So I think you should. At Extravagance said, always trying first. If I believed all the crap some game journalists spit, I would have played Super Mario for 20 years.
That's right.
Okay. At Alex_Lou03 said, it's a collection of reading reviews, watching gameplay. I try to give most games a chance, LOL, but I know it isn't what I'm into, then never mind. And there's a few more, so we're not going to go through all of them, but it does sound like a lot of people tend to look at video reviews, written reviews, what the community is saying, form their own opinion. And you know what? That's fair because, I mean, thankfully with today's technology, it's very easy to find a review. It's easy to find a let's play or even just gameplay of the first 20 minutes, which a lot of time is what's allowed, up to the embargo date of when a game is released. So there's a lot of ways to start forming your opinion. But this one, to me, just like in terms of every Switch game out there, has just been baffling just how it got to this reputation. And I don't know how it started, just like even in our community. It's just like one day, like somebody mentioned Troll and I, and it just kind of took off from there.
Craziness.
Yeah.
So probably go over our recommendations. So for me, that's a couple of things I actually didn't mention during the main part. So I wrote down that the climbing is slow but doable. It's like you kind of like hop around and it takes a little bit of time. The combat works. It's pretty satisfying. Like when you're playing as Otto, like the main character, like you have these clubs and you mutilate the bad guys. You like crush them.
Oh yeah.
So like you beat them up, and then there's like a little end animation when you take them out. And then as you mentioned, the troll like crushes them with his feet and smashes them and they go flying, and it's really satisfying. And then I also mentioned, which something we didn't touch upon, the crafting mechanics are decent, and the leveling up is pretty fun. So like as you go through, you just literally like Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is a horrible comparison to Troll and I. But you literally collect everything that you can see around, but instead of like just going around and you can obviously see everything, like there's little icons on the map that you see, that everything you can like pick up and collect. And it's pretty annoying that when you max out the inventory, it's like, I can't collect that. I can't collect that. I can't collect that. Like a million times. And it's like, stop, dude. Got it. Like,
I do want to interject here. So that's one thing about
JP, interjecting Panda.
I'm a polite guy, even though it's our show. I don't like to interrupt, but you're saying picking up everything. That's one of the problems I had with the game, is that it wasn't very easy to pick up all the time, because what happens is the items are on the ground and the selectable items kind of glisten, so you could tell what they are. But like, you kind of sometimes have to be pinpoint right on top of it, or looking at it the right way to be able to scoop it up. Because a lot of times, the map shows you where everything is that's fallen. So that's what I like about it, is that you can easily see where all the items are on the map. But always picking them up was like, I would walk forward, I'd have to walk backwards, I'd have to tilt the camera a little bit. And even something as simple as the bamboo sticks to make your spears, the whole tree is glistening, and I walk up to it and I have to like turn multiple ways until the X comes up that lets me, make the spear. So that, I noticed a lot happening throughout the game.
And the troll is the worst too. Like when you have to move him around, like he kind of hobbles really slowly, and trying to get like to a rock that you're gonna throw to crush like an enemy spawn point. Like you kind of gotta manipulate it, and not too good.
But I did.
But the crafting mechanics itself to make spears with different types of spear tips and trying to do that was fun. It's also nice that you can level up the characters like the way you want. Like,
were you able to though? Because I only in the very first time where they showed you how to level up, you get I think 10 or 20 points, but throughout the rest of the game so far that I played, I have not gotten any more points.
You haven't been collecting everything, JP.
I've been trying to.
I think I figured out that at least the points that I've been getting, because I've leveled up like a bunch of stuff. A lot of attack. I've leveled up the health of the troll.
What?
I think it has to do with the idols you collect, the gold idols that you collect around the levels, because I collected a bunch at one time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I had 70 points, and I had like 30 troll points. And so,
I gotta look again, because I do pick up the idols. I mean, I may have missed some things here or there, but I've been trying actively to clear the map screen of any items. But the other thing I didn't understand is that when you kill the enemies, there's like a blue orb that forms above them. Does that do anything?
I didn't see that doing anything, but like it may allow you to recharge your blue powers, which is like the troll's yell.
You know what? I never walked over to it or walked over to them as the troll. I only used the stones to charge up the troll's powers.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Maybe
it's the same blue. So
right.
I kind of thought that was it, but I never really used the troll's powers ever. So because I literally just crushed them with his feet, and I never had an issue. So
that reminded that actually reminded me of the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction that came out for the PS2 era. It's just like Hulk smashing and like foot stomping and just like crushing the enemies. That was very satisfying, and I felt that the troll was overpowered because even though they were hitting me by the feet, I never felt like my health was really in danger, as opposed to Otto, where...
Now you compare Troll and I to Hulk Ultimate Destruction. It would be like if you put Hulk inside of cement that's drying and almost drying, and that's how fast the Hulk would move. That's how fast the Troll moves. He's like sluggishly slow.
Well, the enemies are quite patient in Troll and I. They don't mind standing around. I mean, seriously, when I'm doing the finishing animation move as Otto, and there's like 3 enemies around me, they're all just waiting for me to finish. No one's trying to stab me in the back. No one's trying to take me out. So I thought that it was nice that they were very polite in that respect.
They're like JP, polite and nice. And if you use the rolls and the parries, it's like I really wasn't even taking much damage at all. So, to me, based on all that, like, my recommendation is that this game isn't as bad as people make it out to be. I feel like a lot of people are judging this based on its initial version and the few reviewers that got it as a early review copy, or they're overly comparing Troll and I to the PS4 or Xbox One counterparts, which I haven't played, but I would assume are graphically superior. I also have to assume that the controls are about as bad. But that being said, this is nowhere near any kind of a top tier game. However, I got the game for like $10 plus like a couple bucks shipping. Like it was like maybe $12 shipped. So for like $10, or when one of the listeners said like $5 digitally, like it's worth a try. Like, and if you enjoy old school Xbox PS2 games, like, and you can put up with the weird controls, like if you've played an old Resident Evil tank controls, like that's the sluggishness and the awkwardness of trying to line up like an action or something. That's kind of what that is. If you can tolerate all that, like it's not horrible. It's definitely not polished. It definitely needs a lot of work. But it's not the best game of E3 or the greatest game of all time, like it says on the back of the box. What does it say on the back of the box? Like it, I
gotta find. You know, I'm gonna get it because I have it.
Because it literally says something along the lines of like the best game of all time or something.
Yeah. You know, there's one thing we actually didn't talk about, and ironically, it has to do with the Switch. Is switching the characters. I thought it was very, very seamless.
Yeah, switching the characters wasn't an issue.
No, and it was nice because, you know, you can call him over, you can have the troll pick up Otto, so when you want to move faster together, you know, he's kind of riding the shoulder.
Except when, I thought, you know, when you punch, Otto falls off.
Yes, he does.
Little nerd.
But when you press the R trigger, I mean, it was instant. You know, there wasn't any weird delays or weird animations that take, you know, a little bit of time. It was just instantly you're the other character. So I thought on the Switch, making the Switch was easy. And I will say, you know, if after listening to this, you haven't even heard my feedback yet, but after listening to this and you want to pick it up, Amazon right now has it for $11.02 with free shipping. It's $11 only, people. And there's only one left in stock. So will it sell out? We'll find out. One
left in stock? Yeah. I think I got it for 12 or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. See, it's even gone down. So did you have anything else to add for your feedback or recommendation?
I gave my recommendation.
Okay, so my turn. I would recommend this game. I know that's no surprise because I like everything. And I went into this not wanting to hate it. And you know what? I have to say, the story, okay, it's not the most original, right? I don't even know if we even discussed the story, but this rich old guy wants the troll dead or alive. He takes his bounty hunter and tells him, go find it. And then 5 years later, you know, that's where the game picks up. But you know what? Otto, aside from his voice and the fact that he monologues everything out loud, I thought the game was fun. It kept me engaged. I liked the different areas. I thought it was, you know, semi-open world-ish. So far, the one puzzle I did with the propeller plane was fun, and I liked, you know, how they worked together. I like watching the relationship build between them through the cutscenes. But yeah, the game it is sluggish. It is old school graphics. It's not going to be anybody's, I think, you know, top 5, top 10 game. But for $11, I would say even $20, it's a game that's fun to play. And I didn't get to try it. So it says you could play the story campaign locally with a friend. I didn't get a chance to try it, but I would imagine it could be kind of fun to.
What was my quote on that, JP?
What was your quote?
Yeah, when you told me you could play cooperatively, what did I tell you? It was funny.
Did you say you wouldn't subject yourself to that?
No, I said, oh, I could have my daughter play with me. And I said, no, wait, I don't want to ruin video games for her.
I don't think you would. And I didn't get to say this before, but I think it has one of the funniest lines in a video game that I've heard in a long time. And you've heard this one, but it's when he meets the troll and he's like, do you understand anything I'm saying? And he's like, blah, blah, bleedy, blah, blah, blue. And just like so serious. And I just remembered like I took my eyes off the screen for a second and I heard this and I just started cracking up. I was like, that's brilliant writing right there. That was just very funny. So I would recommend this game. I know a lot of people will not, and they'll say, "No, what are you talking about?" But you know what? For $11, $20, I still want to see how the story ends.
So I will say that I'm not going to go back and play this game. The other thing is we were saying people were giving it 2s and 3s out of 10. I mean, all of that I said, it's about a 5 out of 10 game.
I was going to give it a 6.
You would give it a 6 with falling through the world and glitches and having to restart it. And I'm just saying,
one time for me only. I've only had to restart one time because of that.
I'm just saying that like all the different nuances, there's no way it would be above a mid-range game. Like, I mean, that's you just being nice. I would say, so JP's scale is on a scale of 6 to 10. 6 is the worst, 10 is the best. Because he can't go below a 6 because he feels bad, people. So
it's true. You know, I look at every game as somebody putting time and effort into it. I look at the goods. And you know what? This game, all right, maybe I won't say captivate. It engaged me, right? I didn't feel bored playing it. And I've enjoyed every aspect of the story.
I will say this, though. It's not the worst game we've played on the Playcast.
No.
It's definitely not. Like, I mean, and I also enjoyed it, like, even though it's not worse than Troll and I enjoyed Troll and I more than I did Tumbleseed when we played it. And Tumbleseed's like a holistically... Yeah, and I mean, like, Tumbleseed's a holistically decent game. I just didn't personally like it. I actually liked Troll and I better. So, I mean, so that being said, it's not horrible. It's not a terrible game.
No, it's not.
Definitely worth picking up for cheap. You can get it under $10. Yeah.
And I will say, if you want to be in Switch Core, you got to buy Troll 9. No, I'm just kidding. But that's our running joke is that, you know, everybody that has a Switch kind of needs to own Troll and I. And you know what? I think more people would be surprised that they're enjoying it than not enjoying it.
But nobody is playing it because obviously it's 7%.
Well, after this episode, every place is going to sell out because people are going to say, maybe I will try this game finally. And I think they'd be pleasantly surprised. Or not.
Well, I mean, like I said, I set my expectations so low that like anything it would have done decently would have surprised me because I was expecting it to be that graphical mess that I had at the beginning. So the fact that it didn't do that, and I'm like, oh, you can actually play this. Like it's not as bad as I was expecting, but again, like not unexpected. And we already talked about it last week that this week we are going to join Nintendo in their free trial of Super Mario Tennis Aces. Mario Tennis Aces. It's already available for download, everybody. You can download it right now, and then when the trial goes live on Wednesday the 7th for the week, it will allow you to play. So
you and I actually need to play this then against each other.
Yeah, we absolutely need to play it, and if you are
we have yet to play a game together,
and if they are friends with us on Switch, any of the listeners, we will be online some of these nights. I will be in Arizona this weekend, so it'll be interesting to try to get a hold of me when I'm not drunk and alcohol poisoning at Game On Expo.
And not to intimidate anybody, but I used to play tennis for a long time. I played in high school. I was captain of the varsity team. So that's clearly going to translate very well to Mario Tennis for me. So good luck, everybody, if you get paired up with me.
That'd be classic.
Or I'm going to be horrible.
Now, is this one of those classic games where we can't actually play together and it's like a rando thing, kind of like Mario Maker 2? Or can you actually just pair up with friends on Switch?
Oh. That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. I thought for some reason you could play against friends.
Next week.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
We will talk about it next week. So that's it for Troll and I. Let's continue on, and the only thing I got in this week was Troll and I. So, woohoo! Lucky
That's
me.
it, you're done? Oh my god.
That's it, I'm done. There was a game that was supposed to be delivered today, and it hasn't been delivered yet.
Well, up until today, I only had one game to talk about, and then I got 7 today. So, I'll have a little bit more to talk about. So, All right, I did not get Troll and I've had that since launch when it came out, or since the launch of its game, not the Switch. So the games that I got in was Enter the Gungeon. So this is the retail release from Dodge Roll, Devolver Digital, and Special Reserve Games. And some people may be wondering, but didn't I hear that Enter the Gungeon is coming out through Special Reserve Games? You're correct. They are going to be releasing it off of their website on August 20th. Open for pre-order. It's going to have a different cover. I believe it's going to have a manual and some additional goodies. But there was a retail release.
As the listeners can tell, JP has not opened the game because you hear diaper rash sounds as he's talking and making the diaper noises with his hands because he doesn't open his games, people.
Yes, I do. I'm going to do a tweet size unboxing of this game tonight. And my second game that I got was Guacamelee 1-2 Punch Collection. And this is from Drinkbox Studios and Liedman Games. So it's Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition plus the second one. It's 2 games, all of the DLC. It comes with an original soundtrack, DLC for both games, a 2-sided poster, and a manual. So I'm definitely doing a tweet size unboxing of that one because what's funny is that, a lot of times we talk about the cases being empty, and here we have 2 releases that are pretty weighty, and they have goodies inside, which you normally don't see that often. So it's nice that 2 releases this week have stuff inside the cases. So the other game that I got,
as JP is talking, you can hear him crinkling the whole time because we're on an audio podcast, JP.
I want people to know that I'm really holding these games. They can hear it. It makes them want to buy the games.
Okay, Crunchy.
Yeah, all right. So the next one is a box, so hopefully you're just going to hear shaking now. No, I got R-Type Dimensions EX from Strictly Limited Games. So that's the limited publisher from Germany. This is their next release that came out. I bought the collector's edition. I actually did a tweet size unboxing on Twitter. It's really cool. It comes with a dog tag, some bumper stickers, art cards, a really nice art manual, and in their nice magnetic box that you've seen with their previous releases, so like Fox and Forest. So I got that in. Then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Fosicle games, and these came out previously in the UK. They were only available, as far as I know, from Argos, UK retailer. But these are 5 games that are digital codes in the box. Everybody's favorite, hot topic point. But I got them in, so I was supposed to get a 6th one in, and it's actually going to arrive tomorrow, so we'll talk about that one next week. But the ones that I got in was Constructor Plus, it was Fruitfall Crush, Impossible Mission, James Pond, Codename Robocod, and Rally Racers. So these are, aside from Constructor Plus, the other ones were only $14.99, which I actually believe is the price of the digital game on the eShop. So the only difference here is you get a case, you get a code in the box. These were available from Amazon and GameStop. But
did they even print on the inside of the cover?
On the inside, I'm looking because I haven't opened it yet. I think it's just the the warranty information. I don't think it's actually any artwork or anything like that.
See, that would be nice to know, JP, Mister. I don't open anything because if people are gonna try to collect these Foxicle things, the other game, the 6th game that came out was super putty, and if you follow the Switch Facebook page, there was 6 people that posted the exact games that you got today. I saw that a little before we recorded. I saw these same games, and I'm like, oh look, people got Enter the Gungeon. People got I was like, man, y'all are obsessed.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to open. All right, well, there's one that I wanted to download. I'm going to open right here. You're going to hear it right now. I'm going to open up James Pond, Codename Robocod. So let's see what's inside. Here we go. All right, take the wrapper, open it up, and... Oh, okay, this is interesting. So on the inside, it actually says game controls, hints and tips, hidden treasures, and customer service and warranty. And that's on the left side in English. And on the right-hand side is, I think that's French, as far as I can tell. So it's the exact same stuff on the side. But, you know what? There is inner artwork. It's faded into the background of the text, but it's the but it's essentially the cover. So it's the same image that's on the front, but it's right in the middle of the inner artwork. Underlay the text. So that's pretty cool. So you have the game controls, you have hints, and yeah, that's awesome. And then you also have a download code with a scratch off that you have to use to reveal the code.
So
and then on the back
cool
it just
that
says
they actually put something on the inside of the cover though, instead of just leaving it blank.
Yeah.
At least they did that, because there was a whole ongoing topic on the Switch collectors group that was talking about whether it's real or like it's worth collecting or not, and people were writing like it's a collectors group, not a cartridge collectors group, and then I just responded that it's not necessarily preservation of the game, but it's still something that's collectible. It'll be covered in the Switch collector book. So
well, I think what's really cool is it's its own category, right? I mean, I made up the term physical. We can call it whatever we want, but it is its own category, and it's growing too. And that leads me to my next point is that, a lot of people obviously prefer a physical cartridge over a digital code. Sometimes we don't get that option. So like, for instance, James Pond, codename RoboCod, Rally Racer, Fruit Fall Crush, we probably would never have seen physical anyway, just because the price of it on the Switch, on the eShop, probably wouldn't have warranted a physical of it. But here we have the opportunity to at least buy it in another format. And for the exact same price as the eShop, to me, it's just saying, okay, you have two ways to do it. You're not spending any more, but you get a real case. And I think that's pretty cool. Where the criticism is now twofold. One, we've talked about with the Wolfenstein game, is that you have companies that should be able to publish a game on a cartridge, and they didn't. And I would say the first game that we've really had like dissentment about is that Wolfenstein, right? Because we were very surprised that a game like that would have been a code in a box.
I would say that wasn't.
But the other issue now,
I would say that's the latest one that they haven't released. The first game that was physical that really grinded my gears was Sonic Mania Special Edition, where we didn't get the game in it, and then luckily they rectified it with the Plus Edition. So to me,
you're right.
I would justify that as them waiting till all the DLC was out, so they put everything on one cartridge. But they put out this giant Genesis size, full Genesis with a Mario statue, and it doesn't even come with the cartridge.
No cartridge and no case even.
It came with a Genesis cartridge with the ring in it, but no Switch game. Like crazy.
Yeah. But here's my problem now. So one of the games that I got this week, that was disposable, was Constructor Plus. But in the UK, they actually got a real physical of this with a cartridge, exact same game. And now in the US, we got just a digital code. That to me, I don't understand why. And the second game the other game that I didn't get that'll come in tomorrow is that Super Putty Squad. And that game in the EU got an actual physical release.
Yep.
So that to me is just a little odd why we wouldn't have gotten the same treatment and instead have just gotten this. But yeah, I would say that out of every kind of game that comes out for the Switch, the only time I get a lot of, I don't even want to say hatred, but just a lot of negative feedback is with these, right? I'll post that I got them, and all of a sudden, like, people just come out of the woodwork to just criticize that I even buy them. I even share them online. But like you said, not everybody is a cartridge physical collector. People could be collectors in general of all the different formats. And I'll say it again, like my goal in all of this with JP is to inform people of what's out there. I'm not telling you what to buy. I prefer a physical cartridge. I'll always get that. But if something like this comes out, to me, that's a collectible. And I'm going to...
So one question that I asked a while ago, which I don't think we talked about in the Playcast, would you consider the download cards that are at Walmart worthy collecting if they don't have a physical at all? Because there are a few.
See? Right. Me, as a collector, I look for a case. That's how I collect. So if there's a code in an actual Switch case, I collect that. I consider that part of my collection. The digital codes, just to me, no. But again, maybe to other people, they like the artwork on the card. They like collecting just the cards because it's a different format to get the game. And that's not wrong. But to me, I don't count it.
Yeah. See, so you have your line.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm never going to tell somebody you shouldn't be buying that. because you're ruining the industry, because you're telling companies, hey, it's okay to release games like this. I mean, I'm glad people think that I can influence the entire industry as to whether they should make games on a cartridge or on a digital code. I don't think I have that power, nor do I want that responsibility. But to me, you know what? It came out in retail. It counts to me, and it's in the case, and I like that. So, yeah, that's my stance on it. And at this point, I'm not going to change, and I'm not going to ask anyone else to change how they buy. But I will post these. I mean, they are a Switch physical release, just not a physical cartridge. But I'm excited to put them in the book, though, because I feel like as the years go on, we're going to be seeing more of them. And I hope that we get more creativity like we did with the Sonic Mania one. So it's going to be an interesting subcategory to watch.
Some of the games, they'll get covered twice. Like Super Putty is going to be covered.
Yes, like Super Putty.
Yeah. And then it'll be covered in a Foxhole section in 2019.
Now, one other thing I will say for you variant collectors is Impossible Mission is a digital code in a box in the UK. It's the same way in the US that just came out, but it's different covers. So aside from the back of these boxes all being different than the UK ones, because for whatever reason we have French and English on all of these back cases. In the UK it was all English, but on the cover of Impossible Mission, it's actually a completely different cover. And I have to say, I think I like the US cover better.
And the thing is that 3 of those games are retro classic games. Like Impossible Mission was a remake of the classic C64 Impossible Mission where it goes, another visitor, stay a while, stay forever. That's what it says at the beginning of Impossible Mission on the Commodore. Then you got RoboCod, which is a classic game, Amiga-style game from the Commodore Amiga, as well as it had some Genesis version. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Super Putty is actually I don't know if it's like a spiritual successor to a Super Nintendo game called Jelly Boy in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Boy.
And what's interesting is on the back of RoboCod and Impossible Mission, it says Retro Classic. But what's really cool on the Impossible Mission one, it says a faithful adaptation of the past Epic's classic that improves on the original in every way. Includes 3 versions: the C64 original classic and the totally updated new version. So it's only 2, so I don't know where the third one is. But you have both versions on it, and the game looks cool. So it's one that I would open up, download, play, and if we're never going to see a real physical, then I'm glad we got this version of it. I actually got one cool collectible that I think we're going to be able to include in the Switch collector book, but it won't be until, I want to say, year 3, actually. So hopefully we'll remember this come down the line. Do you remember the game Truber Brook that recently came out?
No.
Okay, so it's a point-and-click game. I believe it's set in the 60s, and it looked really cool. This was actually a Kickstarter initially, back for the PC and maybe the PS4 as well. I'd have to look. So PC, PS4, Xbox, whatnot. But eventually, this came out for the Switch. But the Kickstarter, I don't believe, initially started out with the Switch. So they had a tier where you could get a collector edition, and it's a PC box, and you open it up, and there's stickers, there's postcards. On one of the spines, it's autographed by all the developers, and it looked really cool. So I didn't know that this thing existed even after the game came out in retail until somebody on the Discord posted that they had backed this. And I guess they honored the backers with a Switch version because it eventually got announced. So I reached out to the developer team, which is BTF. I just want to double check. Yeah, BTF. And I asked them, I said, hey, I just saw that you had a collector box. I know it's not necessarily Switch related, but I think it's awesome. Any way I could get what you still had available. And they were polite. They responded back and said, no, it was just for Kickstarter. I said, okay, it doesn't have the Switch logo on the box itself, so it's not a thing that is officially Switch. And then this was about 2.5 months ago. And then about 2-3 weeks later, they reached back out to me. They're like, hey, we actually do have one if you're interested in buying it. It's, X amount of money. I said, yeah, absolutely. I would love it. I mean, even if it's not a true Switch collector edition, it has to do with a Switch game, and I could put the game inside the box. So they said, okay. So they shipped it to me, and for about a month and a half, it was just lost. I mean, I was tracking it. It said it was accepted at the post office. So I thought that the package had gotten lost, and lo and behold, 2 days ago, it finally arrived. And I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm glad that they, reached back out to me, and now I can add this to my growing collector editions. And I like that it's a little piece of Switch memorabilia, even though it's not specifically Switch. But I think it's something that we should include in a future book, though, because I think it is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that could be another question, poll, or something for all the potential backers and for the community itself. Like, do you consider something that is released on the Switch but has a special edition not on the Switch, but it's not branded to a specific console? Is that worth adding? Because, for example, we mentioned the coins in a previous episode, and there's a Doom Challenge coin, but that Doom Challenge coin, I am not sure if it actually was released with the Switch version as well, or if it was just during the initial release in 2016. So,
right.
I mean, to me, it's still, with the same game, it's still a classic, like, be well worth having, but, like, is that worth collecting on a general, landscape?
Right, and that's
think about.
And it's even like Doom Eternal's coming out, and there's a collector edition for PS4 and Xbox One, and not for the Switch. Do you count that? To me, I don't, because it's clearly separated to those consoles. Whereas Trooperbrook, as an example, the Switch became an option during the Kickstarter, so they offered it, with Switch backers. But at the same time, it's not really a Switch exclusive. And the same thing, right? I mean, you have certain games that come out for multiple consoles, like the Doom, that get a collector edition or a different version of it, and we don't get it. So essentially, you could buy the PS4 collector edition, swap out the case, with a Switch one, and boom, you have a Switch collector edition.
As
Does
long
that
as
count?
it's not branded, yeah. Because
Right.
There's one thing that I'm including with the Switch book, that it's Lego City Undercover. There was actually a Lego set themed to the game that was released during the Wii U iteration, but it's associated with the game, not with the Wii U. And there's still a code that's applicable that works in the Switch version. So, like, it's something that you could have bought that goes along with the game. But it wasn't really. It was released way before the game. So that's a weird, like, crazy thing to me.
Right.
So, I mean, the question is like, what does everybody think? Like, that's a good question.
I'm sure we'll have a lot of opinions, which is good. I hope we hear them.
Exactly. So for the newsworthy stuff,
Yes.
since we're no longer glitched, then just so everybody knows, we taught JP during the break how to use headphones now. And so apparently he had me on speaker, and it was causing the entire audio to pause every time I talked, and there was a lot of glitching going on.
For 13 episodes, I've had you on speaker.
I know, and today my internet's a little finicky. So, I would say absolutely, if I forget something, that's just my bad that I didn't edit it out, like, because it may be. It's going to be fun to edit today. So the first things first, obviously, the game for episode 15 is going to be Mario Tennis Aces. So it is free for Nintendo Online subscribers from 7 to 13 August. So we will absolutely be playing that for the Switchmania Playcast. So there's two things that I alluded to JP that I didn't play my hand with when it came to news stuff.
Yes.
And he's like, "You're not going to tell me?" And I'm like, "Nope, I'm going to tell you on the cast." So the first thing is new aspect for the book. Don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes. We just mentioned other collector items, right, for different consoles. That's something to think about. Here's another thing. I had some buddies post something. Press kits for Switch games. So Horizon. There's a press kit for it, and my buddy,
I know.
My buddy Reggie posted it, and so and before that, 8-Bit Eric back in the day had one. But so it's a press kit. It's for the launch of the game. Again, though, it was sent out specifically to people to build some hype for the Switch game, but it also was sent out a long time ago to build up hype for the other versions. Same press kit. So I do know that. But what other games for the Switch got press kits? That's another question.
Toe Jam and Earl, I know, got one.
Toe Jam and Earl did get a clamshell Genesis box, and there was a second clamshell Genesis box.
That was through Limited Run Games, but Toe Jam and Earl actually sent out a press kit with a comic book, some of the action figures from the Kickstarter, stickers. Yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel, you actually see that I was fortunate enough to get one from them, and I did an unboxing of it. Yeah, so it was to promote the game, not necessarily the Switch physical, but just the release of the game on the consoles in general. But they did have one. One that a lot of people don't know, or maybe don't know, Eagle Island, which is just a digital eShop release, but they actually did send out a little kit with a stuffed eagle in a nest, like nest paper, and a postcard with the eShop code on it. Nice. So that's one that I know about because
that's a foxicle.
That is, and I got one.
I mean, because if you think about it, if it actually has a code with it, that's a Fozicle or whatever. That's a release.
But it wasn't
edition.
But it wasn't released to the public, so you couldn't buy this.
But it would still be a release. I think
it's more of a promotional piece than a release.
Not if it has a legit code in it. Like if you think about it, because like the one for Horizon, like came with like Domino's pizza coupons or something. Like it didn't come with the actual game as far as I'm tracking. Maybe it does.
What I saw is it did come with a mock case, like a Switch case.
Nice. So I mean, so the thing is if it legitimately has that, and we're calling Fozicles something that comes in a legitimate, like some kind of packaging. Like Sonic Mania didn't have a case in it, but it was released retail. This didn't have a case in it, and it was released to people.
Right.
Just because it's limited doesn't mean that it's necessarily not legit either.
Yeah.
And something that we could talk about in future ideas that we've had, too. So, like, I'm just saying, like, what is legit?
See, to me, okay, so we could take a poll on this. We could definitely pose this layer. I would put this under a section of just promotional material.
Press kits.
Yeah, press kits, promo. Just because if people can't readily buy this, I don't necessarily know it should count as a physical release, a physical release, more so than just, people of the press get it. That's just me. So I would say...
To me, though, it's like, if it's in limited numbers and being a classic NES collector, like, it's not that it's not available, it's just wasn't released to the population. People consider stadium events part of the NES collection. Well, it was only released in a tiny market before it was pulled from the shelves. It was not released countrywide, worldwide.
But it was on the shelves, though.
But for like a day in one state, you know what I mean? So it's not that's not readily available. I'll tell you that much. So like same type of deal, same type of limited quantities. So that would be something that's an interesting topic for sure. I would absolutely have it in its own section because it's cool to compartmentalize and have subsets. So it would go in its own section, but. Again, now still something that's collectible.
Now, would you do pre-order items and bonus goodies like that?
I mean, yeah, you would. You absolutely should. I mean, if you're considering like the Saints Row, like that little extra packaging, like I was able to get that. Like it's not going to be readily available now if you go to a GameStop.
I'm even just like posters, right? GameStop has posters. Best Buy's had posters. We've had coins. We've had bobbleheads for Crash Team Racing, keychains,
you could
pins.
go with all the display pieces that are at all these stores and all the fake GameStop cases and like the promo cases, and you can go.
It's the only time we've seen Red out as a physical case.
It's also the only time we saw the Zelda DLC expansion pack.
Yep, that was the very first fake case promo store item that I remember getting was the Zelda DLC artwork.
Yeah, the little Princess Zelda. And I mean, I have a picture of that going in the book too, just because it's a cool thing. But it depends on like how deep you want to go, and that's what's really cool about collecting is like you could go super deep and get like everything upon everything. And I will tell you, that with old school retro gaming collecting, those promotional pieces are what are top dollar. Those old school classic neon NES signs, Nintendo signs, stuff that was like the display pieces that were at like a Funko Land where it has said like collect your games, and like there's stuff like that for the Switch out there right now. So it's not like retro cool, but in 20 years from now it'll be retro. Like, you know what I mean? So like, who's to say?
Yeah. Now, have we talked about accessories as well?
Nope.
Because we have so many accessories that are official, not official. That
I would say, like, for the book, it's gonna be highlights, the best stuff that we've seen from the years.
Okay. That's
otherwise,
fair.
It's too far down the rabbit hole, and I've done it in previous books where I've covered accessories. So that's one thing, and it actually ties into the book a little bit with the press kits. The other one, this is something that I told JP nobody's talking about online. As JP's typing.
I am typing, but I'm listening.
He's trying to post Twitter because he can't stop.
No. You know, after you mentioned the Horizon Chase Turbo press kit, I was like, I'm going to go back to them one more time and just ask if there's still one available. You got me thinking. But you know what? I'm going to stop typing. I'm listening now. What is no one talking about?
All right, so there's something that's like out there. Nobody's really talking about it. I saw one person kind of mention it. All right, so obviously within the last week, the new Switch was released, right? The new Switch console.
In Australia.
The red box Switch.
Yes.
It's not in Australia. People are buying in the stateside. I got buddies that bought one.
Oh, did not know it got released.
Oh, it's released.
Okay.
Shit, Spawn Wave Media has one. They bought it at the store. Like, I'm saying, Nintendo's not sending out free ones. The guys that are posting it on YouTube, they're getting them. And
I haven't seen...
I've seen 3.
Yeah.
I actually Spawn Wave like took it all apart and compared the actual collector chips, like the actual processor chips. So anyway, Searchy McSearcherson, the new Switch is up. So the one thing that one of my buddies posted was the battery. It has extended battery life, right? That's all Nintendo's talking about. Oh, it has battery.
Right.
That isn't what it has. It's way better than that. So the new battery life isn't. There's no new battery. It's the same battery. So the new battery life is due to a new processor chip. So it's able to optimize the battery better. So what does that mean? It means that games are going to run better. So games, and I saw video comparisons, games run better on the new Switch. Somebody showed Doom, and so Doom has a standard frame rate. If it's like 30 instead of 60 frames per second, right? But how it keeps that is it does this thing called dynamic resolution, which means if the chaos gets a little chaotic, if things get a little insane with a bunch of enemies, the resolution drops a little slowly, so it maintains that frame rate. Well, it doesn't do that with the new Switch now. There's no resolution drop. So it's no change. It's like all flawless. Skyrim does the same thing. Skyrim does not change its resolution or dip in any kind of frame rate. So it runs smoother. So some of these games, probably more of the modern ones, would run a little better. And it makes me think of even like Troll and I. Maybe there'd be less glitches on the newest Switch version. So it's interesting. Apparently, and the YouTuber that I was referencing was Dreamcast Guy on YouTube. He says it's about 10% better performance. If it's 10% better performance, that's kind of substantial if you're docking all these Switch ports based on inferior whatever when it comes to the playability. Like, oh, well, this game runs like crap. Well, there's a 10% better Switch out there now, and that's like nobody's talking about that. Obviously the Joy-Cons have also been improved. They feel a little heftier now. Like they're the same weight, but they feel like a little more solid. So they don't know about the drift fix yet because they haven't played it long enough, because it was just released last weekend. So unsure about that, but so like nobody's really talking about that. That's almost like Dreamcast, the guys who I saw on YouTube, but like nobody is mentioning that. And the way that YouTube goes when it comes to Switch stuff is it's review and forget and move on to the next thing. That's what everybody's always doing. Well, to me, this is almost like it's a full console. I don't have the budget to buy another console when we have the Switch Lite right around the corner. But it's very interesting that nobody's talking about that it's not legitimately a new battery. It's the processor, and the processor will make games run better. And then you have the whole games are also going to use the overclocked mode of the Switch to run better. So overclocked on top of the new processor, like there could be some significant improvements.
See, I don't know where they're getting it because I don't think it's been widely released. Because I only say that because the websites that I've gone to.
In denial.
No, I know it came out in Australia. I'm sure it came out in certain stores. Nintendo's website is saying beginning mid-August, and I went to Target, Amazon, and Best Buy, and they still have the old one listed. So maybe there's like a soft, slow release.
They found it at the store and came across one. From what Spawnwave said, and he's up in the East Coast side. Northern, maybe real north. Anyways, he said that the only one that he saw was the blue and the red.
Mm-hmm.
Blue and the red.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not out. I'm just saying widely. I don't think it's available yet.
I've seen videos. There are multiple people posting videos. So, anyways, yeah. So that's the one thing. So this may be, especially if JP is like doesn't even think it's out, then we might be one of the first people to leak this improvement. So people like those of you that are on the fence, because I mean I've seen people talking about like even RGT85 saying, well, I'm not going to buy the new Switch because it's really not worth it for just battery life improvement. And there's a little bit more than just battery life improvement. It's literally they have a marginal 10% improvement on some of the games that were struggling.
This is going to be interesting because I do want to pick one up, and I would definitely try Troll and I again and see if I can notice a difference.
You're going to apply to Troll and I. Poor JP. He's forever ruined.
That's the game I'm going to try first.
He's ruined. Oh, goodness. So I think we should probably dig into the actual Switch Collector.
Yes, let's do that.
Book. Yeah, so obviously we said at the beginning of the episode, Switchopedia.com. Just to keep things simple, it'll direct you to a preview page, which will then be the actual campaign page. And so that's what it'll be. It'll get you there for the entire time that it is alive.
And before we even dive into that, as soon as you open up the page, right at the top, you'll see a button that says click to be notified, and that'll keep you posted as to when it goes live. You'll get a notification, I believe, through email. So as soon as you go to switchopedia.com, just click that really quick so you don't forget. And that way we'll just send you, or Kickstarter will just send you that reminder the day it goes live, and you'll be all set.
And when you do that, if you have the Kickstarter app, it'll give you a pop-up. So, like, and I do, like, when I do limited items and number them, like, I will go and order a backing. So, like, I will number, like, say we do 20 items for the limited edition wooden cover, that we get 20 backers. I will number them 1 through 20. And so the first backer who does it gets number 1. Like Jeffrey Woodenhagen doesn't keep number 1. I keep whatever one I get that somebody's not backing. And so, like, I want a copy of every one of my items for every campaign I do. There's a few items out there in some of my campaigns that I do not have because they're way too crazy and expensive. Stuff like giant limited edition hand-burned boxes. There was a guy, Heatman, on Facebook, and he did this awesome, amazing giant box that fits the book, fits one of my old books and everything, and it was like, yeah, he only made one. So that backer is the only one who has it. But that being said, if you have the app, it'll do a pop-up, and you can be like one of the first ones to back. The same thing for those that have followed me when JP posted that. You also will get an alert anytime I launch any project. So that's another thing, is you can click on me as the creator, and if you follow me as the creator, you also get alerts too.
Which you absolutely should do. Jeffrey is awesome. And I'm not just saying that.
Crazy. So
yeah, he's crazy too.
What else do we need to cover with this Kickstarter? Because I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, so like for updates, within the last weekend, I want to say I wrote about another 20 reviews. I got them all into the book. I refined every one of those reviews in the book. Wrote 6 pages on Mario Odyssey.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was one of the reviews, but it was 6-pager. I also went and noted all of the stuff I need to refine. Because we are doing a JP Switchmania section. I am going to go ahead and refine a few of the ones where we were thinking about integrating your comments into it, but then because there's way more things that you need to talk about than we have space for, like we're gonna have your own section. So this book has evolved, people. It has evolved lots, and it's going to get bigger because there's a whole section in there. And when I said 250 to 300 pages, and that's what it says on the actual Kickstarter page, it's at 286 already. And I haven't added contributors. I haven't added accessories. I haven't went down the like kiosks, like stuff like any of that. There's gonna be a backer section. There's a lot of stuff here. Developer interviews. So JP and I have been, as we talked about at the beginning, like we had, like I had a quote from Starquail Games, and they're excited to do an interview. And so we've talked to a lot of other publishers and developers, and
oh yeah,
the support has been awesome. Like I'm like it's amazing, actually humbling, like how positive the Switch community is, because I mean I've released 12 books, and this is the first one where you see like all the developers and the publishers just like support the whole community. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, humbling is the best word, because Saturday after I launched it, first thing I think is, okay, there's a lot of games in year one from these publishers and developers that have been engaging with us, that I've been talking to. So the first thing I did is I sent them the link to it. I said, hey, just let you know, we're going to be doing this book. I'm a part of it with Jeffrey Wittenhagen. And all of them were just really happy. They got excited about it. You know, they could see the teases that we have on the Kickstarter page. But what's even better is that they started retweeting it. And, you know, this is over a month out already, and they're already sharing it. So Super Rare Games retweeted it. Play Asia retweeted it. And then, you know, I've been talking with some of my friends that run Nintendo deals, Go Nintendo, Nintendo Soup, you know, and even just like the publishers like SMG Studios that does Death Squared. And I'm sharing this with them, and they said, oh yeah, we're gonna share this when it goes live. We're excited about this. And then, you know, we also posted to our Facebook group. We posted it to the Discord. We posted it to Twitter. And just a lot of people are just so excited for it. They were asking why they couldn't back it already. They said, oh, the page doesn't seem to be live. I mean, it's exciting. You know, this is my first time ever being part of the Kickstarter. And I couldn't think of a better one than the first of its kind, the first book to really start cataloging and documenting the physical Switch journey.
Yeah,
along with digital aspects, of course.
And of course, right now there's no trailer. There is a trailer in the works. I actually have a legit pro working on one. He did the intro for the Game Chasers and stuff. So and for the gaming historian Norm. He's done some awesome work. And I was at a convention next to him, and we were chatting. He had some awesome stuff, and then like I was like, hey, I'll keep you in mind. And then when this one's kicking off, I'm like, yep, it is time to get a pro to do an amazing, you know, something that's worthwhile for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, and now just looking at even the stretch goals, they've evolved since Saturday.
Yes, they
have. And
so,
that's from feedback that we've already been getting.
I would like to go down the page.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just talk some stuff. So there's comments. We'll talk about the comments at the end. But basically, at the top, I have an unofficial and unlicensed book for passionate collectors. So the main thing about Nintendo proper is, as long as it doesn't look like it's a licensed product were good. I've seen books in the past where they straddled that line and Nintendo didn't like it. Like if you put their seal of approval and you changed it to JP Switchmania seal of approval, but it's obviously not theirs. They don't like that because it's looking like something that's official. So I don't even put Nintendo in the title of the actual book, so that way they know, hey, I don't want y'all to think, obviously it's about the Nintendo Switch. It's why we had, awesome Erica. I think I put her name initially as Emily, which was funny as hell. But it's why we had Erica do an awesome logo for us. It's custom, so that we're not even using the Switch logo. We're using a custom Switch Collector logo. So that way they know, hey, we're serious about our passion for the Switch. And then we have the artwork from Rusty Shackles that just looks amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I have a couple different pictures. I got one with a Breath of the Wild background for the main one, but I also have a white background, so like we can swap out anything we can if we need to. People happy. And then, so I'm not gonna go over any of the text, but essentially, it's Volume 1, so it's the first year of the Switch. Ironically, somebody mentioned to JP that the back is licensed by Nintendo, and I'm like, I must have designed that back amazing, because I designed the entire back, all the imagery, all the text. Did the screenshots, all that stuff. And like the only thing is like the promo art, which is promotional to sell Nintendo items. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like it's they're like, oh, I was like, man, I must have done awesome on that back. It must have really replicate, because literally the book is going to be a one for not a one for one, but like a representation of a Switch case. That's what I wanted. So like you got your cover on the front, and on the back it has like what a lot of Switch games have on the back, with like a bunch of different different types of different sized pictures, and it just looks cool. And it's like create your legacy, like different little taglines that I came up with just on the fly. The Nintendo Switch Collector's Guide that you need begins here. I love that. It's freaking awesome. It just sets the tone.
So can you tell us what it says under Volume 1 on the spine?
Under Volume 1? So on the spine, it actually has the date range. So
that's awesome.
Because Volume 2, in Year 2, the games are exponentially larger. There's a lot more games in Year 2. So Volume 2 may not cover the entire second year. So then it'll have a date range. So I like that. So it says March 17 to March 18. And then next to that is my name, because if I don't have my last name on the spine, Barnes & Noble won't carry it. Unless you're like a mega publisher, that's going into old school. Get me on my soapbox about old school publishers. But that's why I started. I didn't initially have my last name on the spines, but Barnes & Noble, that's why some of my original releases are not on the shelves. Yep.
Well, we're going to get this one on that shelf.
Heck, we will see. And that being said, the top does say unofficial unlicensed. If Nintendo is interested in licensing it, we will absolutely pay the fees and license the book. Like, that is fine. I will become a licensed Nintendo, book creator for collector's books or something. Because they don't have a collector's book rep. I would absolutely do that. So you have a couple of the spreads that show up. All of this is subject to change because I am continually tweaking things and modifying things to perfection. I do that entirely throughout the whole time I work on books. But essentially, any feedback that we get, we will make tweets. I do purposely put Blaster Master Zero, which was announced by Limited Run Games, so it shows people that it was a digital-only title in 2017. Again, backers will have the option to recommend their favorite digital-only games, and if we think it's like a worthy addition, we'll add it to the book. So there's potential for expansion, which is scary because there's a lot of games. I do a little bit of a short, in my own words, 3-paragraph history on the Switch and kind of the impact that it's had on the collectors community. I do that just because I think it's cool. Details about the book, how it actually is printed, like the size of it, all of that stuff, what colors it represents and things. I go in over that. and then talking about the stretch goals, and like that's all just a generality. And then I talk about the people behind it. So I talk about myself, talk about you doing your collector aspects, Rusty Shackles, and Erica doing the logo. Then there's content within the book, so it's like all the sections. Go over. We talk about foxicles, digital only, and what that means. And also I do mention other regions that can be enjoyed by players everywhere. We do have a stretch goal that we added since then. That was a request that we actually will have if the stretch goal is met, we'll have a Japanese section. So not the ones that are enjoyable by players everywhere, which I would consider part of a main collection. But those games that you can't understand because they're in a different language, those will be in its own section. Now, I'm not just saying Japanese only, which I think in year one, that's all that applies, but it'll be other language, international releases. Yeah,
as of now, from what I can think, is there was some German only in either year. I'm going to double check either 2017 or 2018, but like you said, in terms of like region specifics, I haven't seen that many that have come out.
That being said too, though, a game like Spelunker, I am still putting in the main section because even though it's not in English, you can still play it. So there's that too, where some of the stuff will be subjectively playable, may not necessarily be 100% enjoyable. I mean, it's kind of like La Mulana 2 that we talked about. I actually busted it open and played it, and there's a lot of story where you can't understand what's going on, but you can definitely jump through the caverns and beat up some enemies and find some fun. And I still was having fun with it. So that would fall into that category. So again, though, if it hits the stretch goal, we'll definitely cover it. I got the JP's Collector's Corner. The rabbit hole goes deep. And
oh my god!
And I put in there, everybody tweet at JP to get to writing because he promised me that on Monday, like yesterday, he was going to start writing. And here's the thing, people: if this book gets delayed to September 2020, which is what I put on there, that's because of JP.
I will not let that happen. I'm trying my best. Stop making me play all these games.
Hey, we got a Switchmania to do.
I know.
We got a playcast to do.
It's true.
No, I talked with JP offline, but it's one of those things where I've learned throughout the years because I do a full-time job and with my daughter and my wife, and doing family time. I maximize my time. So like, if I have an hour and a half for lunch, I'll spend 30 minutes writing. I will take every reasonable moment and knock out little bits here and there, whereas JP will be tweeting things. So
that's important, though.
You got other people now, so
I know.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to use the JP's Switchmania posse out there. Cool.
Yes, everyone start hounding me to write because the rabbit hole could go deep forever. It's crazy.
Well, and that's the thing. So, like, I think you're underestimating how much you're going to need to write once you start doing it. That being said, like, if you wanted to just be little quotes and pictures, like, we can do that. It's just, depending on how you do it, you have to consistently maintain it across the entirety of what we do. Right. So, I am going deep down the rabbit hole when it comes to writing because there's so many things that I find interesting about each game that I want to cover it. And I think that the more analytical and educational I get, the better it stays within fair use, because it really is going to be a definitive Switchopedia. It'll be a definitive guide to the entire Switch library, the whole series. So, I mean, that's why I'm going deep down, because I don't want to have any, like, oh man, I wish I would have written more on. Like, right. No, I'm gonna, like, I went back, looked at Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, I need to write about the Master Mode in the DLC. I didn't talk about anything about the whole DLC side quests. So I'm like, I need to jump down that rabbit hole. So that's gonna be another 2 pages. I think that one might be an 8-page review. So, like,
did the second DLC come out in year 1?
I'm just gonna talk about it because I'm not gonna go to the Master Mode rabbit hole again. We might mention it shortly, but I'm going entirety of each game as available.
Okay, fair enough. I'm looking at the picture, and the first thing I think of is I want a picture of all the year one physical games. I think that'd be awesome.
Oh, for your collection?
For like the picture, instead of just showing all the games, because it has games from years 2 and 3 in there, it's like maybe an outward facing kind of display of showing every single physical or physical game with English support, obviously.
Get creative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can, whatever picture you want there, that was literally just a collection picture that you had going on. So, like, whatever picture you want to show off your collection. And this is the same for all the contributors. Contributors will have an opportunity to show off their stuff, too. So that's this final part of the book. And now, that was one of the comments, is somebody said, you may want to rethink having contributors in the book, because I don't want to hear what Joe Schmo has to say, is kind of generally what he said. And I said, it's in its own section. So you can choose if you want to actually read their section or not. That's up to you. And so it's not going to be like interspersed in the reviews. That'll be a consistent thing. It'll be at the end. And the thing is like the Virtual Boy book, the contributor stories were really interesting. I mean, there's even Adam Goldberg from the Goldbergs wrote in there. Like, it's insane. So, I mean, who knows who's going to contribute to the Switch book, and the community itself. Like, all the stories and the comments you read on the cast are interesting. So it'll be a fun time.
Yeah, I really hope people take advantage of that tier, because the Switch means so many things to so many people, and so many different things to so many people, that I like reading people's stories. I mean, to me, that's what's very interesting about this community, is that, I mean, first and foremost, I think the thing that I've seen a lot on Twitter or even on the Facebook group is that people are collecting like they've never collected before for the Switch. And I honestly want to know why that is. I think that would be very interesting to see, and hopefully the people that back at that tier will share their story as to what interested them about the Switch, but what got them to the point where before they even noticed, they have 100, 200, 300 physical games where they've never collected like that before. Right? I mean,
I think like through reading all these too, we're going to be able to piece together the culture behind the Switch.
Yes. Through
the stories. And the thing is, and mind you, those that are listening, like, this won't be unedited. And I actually edited the Kickstarter page, and I said everything is pending approval of the author, me, and will be edited and modified to fit the tone of the book and avoid redundancies. So he said he didn't want to read, I think it was on maybe the Discord, he didn't want to read 1,000 stories on licking the Switch cartridges. Like,
that was right out here. So right on the Kickstarter,
okay,
he says,
Kickstarter.
I don't care about Joe Blow's opinion on the taste of each Switch cart, but you know what? Maybe each one tastes differently. You don't know.
Well, the thing is, too, is that if we have similar comments, like, we can put it all together in one section. And, I mean, I've had, like, contributors say, Chrono Trigger's the best game, end of story. That was his and I was like, excellent. So, like, there's stuff like that, too. But I will make sure that at least everything looks amazing. And that's all we can do. I'm not going to tell people what to write, because I'd say nothing is off limits as long as it fits the theme of the book, which means that's fit year 1 of the Switch. Like, if somebody starts talking about year 2 or 3, like, it will be edited appropriately. And every edit, though, is sent back to the contributors, so that way we're not, like, misquoting someone, too. So keep that in mind. But
now, I know some tiers have, 0 out of 80 backers, one left. Now, are these tiers just open in general to everybody, or are you putting limits on them?
Where at?
So, like the contributor tier, the everything tier, and you'll talk about those. Right? What?
I think it just says 0 backers.
Right, but I mean, are you limiting it? So are you going to say only up to 80 people can back it at this tier? So like the contributor tier.
The only thing that I've, and that might be a mistake, because I may be underestimating if this becomes like gangbusters.
That's my question, is if you see 300 contributors on day 1, our book grows exponentially.
Nope, it'll go in. I mean, now the thing is, if we do get that many, we may have to limit the amount people can write, but they'll still be able to write. You just have to write more concisely, because we may not have the room if we have 3,000 contributors. The only thing that's limited is the early bird tier. which means that, and it's the book only. There's a lot more than just the book, but the book only, you can get it for $30 instead of $40, and it's limited to the first so many. I'm not going to say how many, but the first so many backers will be able to get it. It's not a ton. I just wanted to, give those people that support early and just want the book, they can get it super, super cheap. Everybody said 40 is a perfect price point, which, and the thing is I would do it more affordably, but with all of these stretch goals that I'm going to add, like nobody's going to have to increase any pledges. Like at $40, it'll be able to cover like the coolest of the cool stuff. And we're going to go over like some of the stuff that we're going to be able to do. So the project items is the next part of the Kickstarter. We got the PDF. So the $10 pledge gets you the PDF of the book. Should work in any type of e-reader, and if anybody has any issues with any of that stuff, I work with them for formats and stuff. It's too easy. You just contact me. I'm OCD. I always have to respond. Then you got the hardcover book. That's the $40 pledge. Early backer gets it. Then you got contribute a story. I also said in there, get your own card. So one thing that we're doing that JP didn't realize is I'm doing an entire card set to kind of tell the history of the creation of the book. So, for example, the artist is going to get a card of him doing the art. Gonna have me as the author and JP as as a collector's section. Everybody that's involved will have a card. Now, the art that they put on there's up to them, and that those that contribute will also be able to get a card. I am going to have to. Now, I may change it, like, that might be limited to get your own card. It might be limited to the first so many backers because we're only doing a single deck of cards, people. So that's 54 cards, I think it is, because you got 52 plus, like, 2 jokers or whatever. But so it's like 54 cards is going to be the most. So if we have 300 backers, like, it's going to be the first 50 or so. You know what I mean? Or I might do a contributor deck.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah. I mean, so that being said, first 50 backers are going to be the ones because you're still going to have the standard couple.
Right.
But yeah, so I would say probably the first, so you're hearing us work it out live on the cast, so we'll do a contributor deck. That way the same people that were worried about reading about Joe Schmoes, there's also a contributor deck. And so that might be exclusive to contributors. There'll be a way for people to get everything if they want everything, though. Again, everything is pending approval of the author. So then there's the wooden cartridge box, and I got a couple of high-res pictures I took. So that's a Kickstarter exclusive. When I say Kickstarter exclusive, that means that whoever backs it via this project, and I'm not going to be putting them up on a website later. Like, if I every time I do items with a Kickstarter, I round up to cover what they call dunnage. So it'd be like if I ship JP the wooden cartridge box and it shows up in splinters, like it shows up broken, I have a couple extras that I can ship for a replacement. And so that's what I have. And then I don't typically post those online. I typically take them with me to conventions. So like the limited edition Super Nintendo games I had with the Pocket Guide, I took those with me to the last convention. I took a couple. So like at Game On Expo, when I'm going there, I'm going to be taking a couple with me for sale. Like people can hunt me down and find the limited items if you miss out on the Kickstarter. But because we will have a lot of people that will for eternity will be asking us, "Oh, I missed the Kickstarter. Can I get the wooden cartridge box?" And somebody asked how many does it fit. I was able to stack in 100.
Oh,
and it's a small box.
So year one, you're covered.
Year one, you're covered. And so like the box that I showed, there's about 10 rows that fits, and you still fit your whole hand behind it, like your fingers behind it. And you can go 10 deep, 10 high, and it'll go right up to the lip. So it's tiny. It's a small little box. It actually fits inside of the flip grip as well. So the little flip grip where you can play games in tape mode on the Switch, it actually fits perfectly in there. So that's how I have mine displayed on my collection. Is I have it in the flip grip, which now the flip grip has utility. And then I'm letting people choose because I'm hand staining it and hand glossing it. So if they want it to be black or red.
Mm-hmm.
I also put logo subject to change. So we may change the Switch logo to the R logo. And you can Switch collector underneath it. Just depends. Depends on how things go. And then underneath that, the next tier. So the wooden box includes a book, and it's $100. So, and it requires some labor from me as well. So it's $100 to get that with the book. So you can display your entire year one collection inside of their cartridges and have the book. Then next is the limited edition wooden slipcase. So this is something that I've had buddy do, Ozpin. He's done wooden. He did one wooden one with a living hinge before. But with the Virtual Boy book, he did this, what I show as the wooden slipcase, and he's actually lining it in felt and hand assembling them. I've done releases of Nintendo boxes like this. This one will be open on the side so you can put the book in, and the felt will prevent it from being damaged. So it's only gonna be 2 colors, like not 2 colors, but 1 color. So like there's white on the picture, the white won't be there. It'll be black outlines. So and then the Switch collector and then Switch collector stuff will be black outlines. So I don't know if we're gonna do red or just a natural wood color, because like the red again, I will have to hand stain. So I'm going to probably give backers the choice. Just like if we do natural, I will give backers the choice if they want me to hand outline it or not. Because I outline the old ones by hand, and it looks amazing. It pops awesome. But it all depends on what they want, because some people just want it to be the natural. It's not like wood burned, but it's like laser etched in wood. So it's not like dark, but it's like lighter. So it like in the light you can see it, but if I go over it with like by hand, it looks amazing. So it is up to each backer with that. And then that one is $140. And that one comes with the book and the slipcase. And all stretch goals will fit in there. Hint, hint. And then we have the custom Switch arcade, which looks amazing. One backer didn't mention that it looks a little squished, I think he said, or stretched, like squish. Stretched out. The main one. That won't be an issue with the main one. This was the demo one that I was sent to show it off. I'll also probably give people the option if they want the Joy-Con cutouts or not. So they can either have that or not. And also on the front, the logos will be updated, because that's using my old Higgins Alley Books logo. It's Higgins Alley Entertainment. JP Switchmania is not on there yet.
I know what tier I'm a minimum backing now.
Yeah, it'll be there. It's not going to be Higgins Alley Books in the middle. It's going to be the Switch Collector logo in the middle, and then mine and yours on the sides. So
that's awesome.
And there's a stylized picture of my daughter playing Minecraft on it, so that's classic. And then so that's $180. And then and that actually is going to cover shipping to the backer individually. So that one, like, you'll get those when he finishes them before the book's done. So as soon as he gets them done, he's going to ship directly to each backer. Because I'm charging enough to where it'll cover shipping.
And I will say I have one of his arcade cabinets from a while back when I was with the Switch Effect, and they're awesome. They're really well done. They protect the system when you slide in the console itself. I mean, it's very good quality. And now I got the one before I think he even started doing these cutouts for the Joy-Cons, but this looks nice.
Well, and like it's made with real arcade molding and wood.
Yep.
So it's not like those crappy balsa wood ones you see on Amazon. Like I have pictures comparing them next to each other. If people want to see those, I have them. You can absolutely, I'll post pictures or do a video even and show like the difference in thickness and everything. But it's legitimate heavy duty. It's the perfect way to play things in tabletop mode, honestly. Like my daughter and I are sitting there playing games together, just on the floor, like laying around on pillows back in the day around a tiny TV. It reminds me of playing on a tiny TV. Like it's crazy and it's fun. And I think that's one of the cooler items. So then the other thing is people are like, well, what if I want to get everything? So it's a $300 tier, gets you everything in the campaign.
Nice.
So that covers everything. Now, there are also goodies, and there's a way to get all the goodies too. Notice that shipping is not included in the minimum pledges. So when I said those numbers, there's also shipping. The book only shipping is subsidized by me to help out international backers. So those that aren't aware, the USPS, United States Postal Service, charges a crap ton for shipping. Some of my books, like I have 500 and 630 page books. It costs $60 to $80 to ship to the UK or Australia, just shipping. Ooh. And I charge if I charge $40 for the book and it costs $80 to ship, that's $120 to get out to somebody out in the UK or Australia. So this book isn't going to be 500 pages. It's going to be 300-ish. So it's going to be a little lighter. But that being said, I'm going to charge a standard. I think it's going to be $30 internationally, and if it ends up costing more, which it probably will, I will just cover it on my side. Because if this campaign goes well, I would rather everybody that wants to get a copy be able to reasonably, and I will shell out a little bit out of what we make, than just them not be able to get it because it's literally $80 to ship or something. Like, It also allows me to just easily price across the entire campaign. So I can put, US costs this much, and then everywhere else is this much, and I don't have to itemize out per country, because I've had to do that in previous Kickstarters, and it's really bad. So it's easier for me to subsidize, even though even though it's like, going to cost more, it actually helps out all the backers. So might as well do what's in the interest of the backers. That being said, because of the subsidizing, if something gets damaged, I may not be able to do the shipping like I normally do, where I always send out a book replacement immediately, like unless there's something crazy. If I can't get the claim approved, if I get the claim approved, don't care. But if I can't get the claim approved, it's going to be a different story. So it'll be a little bit different, but I've got kinks worked out with everything. All tiers come with the book. That's one thing. So, besides obviously the digital, you get the digital book. All tiers come with the book. Early bird is the first come, first serve. That being said, there may be backers throughout the Kickstarter. If they cancel their pledge for any reason, it'll come back up. That may happen. There's people who have stuff going on all the time. And all non-book tiers are exclusive to this Kickstarter campaign. So everything that's not a book is exclusive.
Wow.
So, we're not going to be producing this stuff forever. We're doing this for the campaign because it's cool stuff. And there is some goodies that we're doing, and I added some stuff that JP wasn't tracking. He just read, and he's like, ooh. So, first off, goodies. Switch Collector trading cards. So, that's $5 extra to your pledge. So, say you pledge $40 for the book, $5 extra bucks will get you trading cards. We talked about it today via PMs, DMs, whatever you call it, and we're probably going to make the background switch red instead of right now it's a grid. So, it's going to be red just to match, so it matches the purview of the book. So that'll be red. It's 5 random cards. 5 rad cards for rad people. So I wrote. So that is, and it's designed subject to change. So if we find something that works a lot better, but I custom made the design. I was using it for a card series I was doing. I'm doing a competitive card game in the future, so that will be the background of the competitive card game. Will be that blue checker. But yeah, I think doing red will make sense. For $10, it is a check mark sticker set. So basically, if you don't want to write in the book, you can use these check marks, and they will be clear. So that way, you just literally put them over it. 2 different types of check marks on it. It comes like that in the sticker set. It's also available on Amazon. So FYI, we're just going to be getting these from Amazon. But this is literally, if you don't want to deal with Amazon, you just want us to do it for you. That's how much it costs shipped. It's $10. So, like, it's like the same price on Amazon. So I'm not upcharging anything for that. For $20 onto the pledge, it is a high quality print from Rusty Shackles, the artist himself.
I love that.
Yeah, so in the past, it was a decently popular tier with the complete NES. Joe Simcoe did the same thing. So Rusty Shackles, another awesome artist, is going to be doing a high-quality print. I asked if he's going to do a poster. He said, I don't like posters. They get crappy quality. I want to do an actual awesome print for it. And the background is subject to change because Rusty sent me a bunch of different backgrounds. This was his initial background that he did, the different coloring. So I'm not sure which one he's going to use.
Would you do? Okay, I was gonna say, would you do a poll?
We could, or I'm not going to tell an artist how to do his art. And then $25 extra is a Switch Collector T-shirt. So I'm gonna use I have it as gray. The shirt colors to be determined, but I think gray matches the cover of the book. So, and I've been digging that because otherwise, if you do like a black T-shirt, it kind of doesn't allow the outlines to pop as much. So I kind of like the gray. And I'm going to be getting with people so we get high quality shirts, because in the past, whenever I've seen some of these custom shirts, like they turn into belly shirts in like a week after you wash them a couple times. I hate that. So I have a couple of people that I know at conventions that do shirts, and I'm going to find out where they print it. So it will be high quality, people. Like,
nice.
It would be well worth the $25. And then the one that I added to JP that he didn't know about, Kickstarter exclusive Switch case with pin and checklist. So what we're going to do is an actual, and I'm getting the cases from Nintendo. So we're supporting Nintendo. I'm getting blank cases from Nintendo. I'm not getting the bootleg cheap ones on Amazon or wherever they're doing them. I'm getting the actual Switch cases. But I'm getting a limited edition cartridge pin made. It'll be black. And it's going to look like a cartridge with the Switch Collector logo on the front. Looks just like a Switch game, but it's a pin. I'm trying to see if they'll do, or I can do, some kind of rubber or foam, so that it'll actually be the 3mm width of a Switch cartridge, and it'll fit in the case slot. That would be amazing. And then there's gonna be a manual in it, and obviously there's gonna be the Switch case is gonna have insert with printing on both sides.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And then, and then a manual that is literally a mini checklist of the entire first year of collecting.
Oh, I love that.
It'll fit in your pocket. It's not going to be super. It's not going to be super in depth. It's going to be literally text based. What games there are. I don't know if I'm going to do alphabetical order, or if I'm going to do year
Release date.
Order. Probably release date order.
That could be tricky though. Sometimes it's not entirely clear. So for certain games.
Yeah, and it'll be all physical games. Don't know if we'll do Japanese in there or not.
So you wouldn't put like in the back like physicals and things like that? It would just be the
just the physical side. I gotta limit it because we only can do so many pages. Like I'm saying, I'm going to be printing this and stapling it and folding it. So it can't be a million pages. It's going to be like a small amount of pages. The text is going to be very small, people. Tiny. But it's going to be awesome to have an actual manual-sized mini checklist you can put in your pocket.
Now, I will say that Limited Run Games is holding the record right now, I think, at 76 pages, maybe, for Toe Jam and Earl.
I do not want to break that record.
No, I didn't say break, but we could get to it.
Yeah. So that is adding $30 to your pledge, which is ironic because that's as expensive as some physical Switch games out there. But I itemized it out, and that's literally about what it's going to cost me. Mm-hmm. I may have to go $10 more depending on how much it costs to do some of this stuff. Because I haven't gotten the quote back from the pin yet. I assume what the pin's going to cost. And then there's one other item that I don't have up there yet, but I'm getting a demo this weekend at Game On, and it's going to be a Switch Collector red glass that is etched, like an actual beer glass.
Nice.
by Moto Glass. Moto's Glass does like the best glass work, and he's getting me a red one with the Switch Collector logo on it. It's gonna be white, so with the logo and the icon. So he charges $30 for those, so that might be the $30 pledge too. So I'm gonna itemize everything out and see. And then all Switch Collector add-ons right now is $80. So if I add the glass to it, it'll be $100. But I want to support Moto Glass too. So that being said, though, like that's a lot of goodies. So if we're talking $300 for all the Switch Collector tiers, and then there's an extra potential $100, that's $400 to get a ton of stuff. It's a lot of stuff, though. It's a little expensive, but we're making it ourselves. So that being said, but the book is where it's at, and it's $40. So now we got to go into what we're going to expand the book on. So as stretch goals go, basically when a Kickstarter gets funded, I have 10K as the funding goal to get us a small print run. If it gets past that, we will continue to add things. If achieved, they will be added to the book. So if it gets 15K, we will print on the end sheets, which means print on the inside of the cover. Now, backers will have the opportunity to submit their own custom artwork that we'll use in there. So that's an absolute thing. Like, if we got some artists, like, I will include your art in the book. No problem.
Oh, that's so cool.
No problem. We already had one of the developers, like we mentioned earlier.
Yep.
So there's options. 20K will do a bonus bookmark ribbon. So I'm already doing a blue bookmark ribbon that will be in every single book. And then if we hit 20K, we'll do a red one. So there'll be 2 bookmarks, just like Switch Joy-Cons, red and blue. And you can mark your place or your favorite pages in the book. 25K will cover all the non-English friendly games in their own section. So that'll be throwing that in there. And then at 30K, all books get a premium slip cover. That means Kickstarter exclusive. So in other words, if we have 100 backers on Kickstarter, we're doing 100 slipcases.
Wow.
The rest will not. So if you don't back on Kickstarter, you don't get the slipcase. Again, I do a couple extra for dunnage, but don't count on there being extras. I mean, I've ran out of every slipcase I've done. I've done slipcase with my definitive Super Nintendo, which I had lenticular animation on. Hint, hint. I may do something crazy with this. Haven't decided yet. Once we get close, if we know we're gonna hit that, I will start coming up with cool ideas with that. And I will add that as a future stretch goal. Like, hey, so the slipcase now will have lenticular animation. Or I had options to do 3D animation on the Virtual Boom, but it was really expensive. Well, people are supporting us. Might do some crazy stuff, people. So yeah, it'll get you a premium slipcase though that goes over. It looks awesome. It's hard card stock, all glossy, just like the cover. Looks amazing. And I said if we have tons of really awesome ideas. Maybe if you ask JP, he will let you know.
Maybe.
Should I go over hints on future stretch goals? Because I already have the next 4 tiers done. It could be for listeners.
I think if people are sticking with us to the end of this episode, they deserve to hear something new that we haven't revealed yet.
Yeah, and you want to hear it too, I know.
Of course I do.
Yeah. Let me see. I think it's this one. Continued. Yeah. So, so after 30K, every 5K is going to be extra pages. So at 35, 45, and then past that, right? So it'll be, we'll allow, we're going to start doing some 2-page spreads on stuff. Again, if backers want to submit some awesome artwork, we will throw that in there with games. Otherwise, we will probably put a lot of these out to a vote on what people want to see. So there's that. And I've kind of written it out at the top of the page. Let me see real quick. Yeah, we'll do a few. Like I think I put 3 double page art spreads.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be pretty awesome. So 40K is a big one. Thread sewn binding. Do you know what thread sewn binding is?
I do not.
So you would be able to lay the book flat, like open it up and lay it flat, and you could view everything. It also means it would last essentially forever. It's pretty expensive to do thread sewn binding, but literally is the best type of binding you can do. So it would be like old school books. Super cool. So then, 45K is more extra pages. Now 50K is where things get cool. It's called spot varnishing on the cover. So spot varnishing means like we could take the black parts and kind of subdue it back to where things feel like 3D-ish. It has like texture to it almost. It's really cool.
I like that.
So like again, we're adding quality to every book. And so there's tons of extra stuff we can do. I mean, we can go make the covers better, the lenticular cover thing type deal. There's other stuff like that we can do too. So yeah, it's gonna be super interesting. Yeah, it's exciting. I think there's still at the end of the campaign, I go over the budget, like where it's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
Like stretch goals and how that works. The timing, like in all reality, as long as JP doesn't take forever to write, like it could be shipping out come March. Like if we do a September to October Kickstarter campaign, October, November, design, writing, backer, add-ons. So JP needs to be done with everything before November. That means he needs to start now if you're writing hundreds of pages. And then December through February is production and printing. The actual like printers, they shut down for Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and depending on what country you go to, some of them shut down even in like January. So, and then it takes like months to ship, like 2 months to ship. So, and then it should go out to everybody by March. Like that's like my estimate, but it could be longer. And so here's my estimation of time. And then shipping and how we're going to do the fulfillment house for maximum speed and consistency with the books. All the books are shrink wrapped. I didn't realize I could shrink wrap my books in the past, by the way, people. Like, I could literally do it at the printer. I just asked. I'm like, hey, can I shrink it? They're like, oh, yeah, it's like 40 cents a book. I'm like, why didn't you tell me this? 40 cents is nothing. Like, what the heck, people? Like, jeez. Like, so yeah, absolutely every book that I release from Virtual Boy on is going to be shrink wrapped, obviously, before they're shipped out. So they'll be sealed.
Nice.
And then at the warehouse, the books are individually bubble wrapped before going in a shipping box. My warehouse has been notorious for using crazy boxes, so that's where I have to have some dunnage when it comes to books. But I'm also going to subsidize shipping, just to help out everybody. And throughout this whole Kickstarter, there's pictures of spreads and stuff just to make things look cool. I go over the partners, who's helping out with the campaign, and then why Hagen's Alley, like a little bit about me and how I've released books and things. So hopefully everybody is willing to support.
Yes, I hope so. And of course, leading up to September 10th, each week our goal is to reveal some more content, show some more teases, just keep this on everybody's mind as we lead into it, because I really do think this is a great book, a great project. Yes, I am, a part of it, but even if I wasn't, just as a Switch collector, the Switch is just getting crazier and crazier with releases, and someone that's just so invested in the Switch community, I really do feel this book is just so useful, so helpful for anyone collecting from day one or just starting today. And whether you collect everything, whether you collect just what you like, whether you collect, barely anything, I still think a book like this is just going to have so much information in it and things that I think people are going to be learning about for the first time, right? I mean, we've talked about it. We're not going to reveal it today, but we have stuff that I strongly believe like the majority of people do not know about.
No.
And I think that's going to be fun to be sharing in there just randomly. It's not even going to be like highlight, here's something you don't know. It's just going to be inserted in certain sections. So, reading the book cover to cover, you're going to learn so much. And, seeing all the different covers, the promotional pieces, the collector editions. I mean, there's going to be something for everybody in this book. And it's just like the Switch. There's something for everybody.
And we're like, I'm been thorough, and sometimes like what we put down. So like, for example, we're putting how many players there are, right? Just like on the back of a Switch box. Well, sometimes the games are updated to where they allow for cooperative. Like Cave Story, for example, that's cooperative now. On the back of the Switch box is 1 player. So the book will be correct. So that's, again, is it that way in 2017? Not really as important as like what is a playable in the end, ultimately playable. Like that's just to me. So it will be a awesome way to just learn about the Switch. Also, like, it's kind of what I got into this like whole releasing the collector books in the first place, is it allows me experience with every game. It also allows me to see crazy games that I knew nothing about. There's a few games in just year 1 that I'm like, man, I never even played this game. I didn't even know it existed. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, Troll and I might have to rewrite my review, right?
I think you may. After now, we've gotten to discuss it a little bit more, and I think our opinion. I think our opinions changed just a little bit after playing it.
So let me let's do a Switchmania second, because I think last time I read it too for Tiny Barbarian, right? Let's go ahead and read the Switch Collector just at the end, because we'll wrap it up from here. We'll close out after this.
Sure.
So I will read Troll and I. So Troll and I, developer Spiral House, publisher Maximum Games, released August 15th, 2017. Action adventure genre, 1 to 2 players on the TV, 1 to 2 players in tabletop mode, and 1 player handheld mode, and no internet online play. So Troll and I is a game that has gotten notoriety for being one of the worst games for the Nintendo Switch. And after playing this game, it is 100% merited. This is an action-adventure game where you play as a character who meets a troll during a forest fire. Both characters have weird dreadlocks, and the graphics, upon its release, were already dated-looking. There is a crafting system that you have to do in order to make weapons and obtain food. There are enemies all around the world which come out of portals, and you use the troll to seal them up. A lot of the puzzles require backtracking a little too far, which in an open world situation can be tedious, and it requires you to recall things you have seen before. Most of the early puzzles are pretty standard and everything seems to be great. However, once you get deeper into the game, that's when things begin to fall apart. So we didn't really get super deep during this playthrough. The pacing is pretty inconsistent, and materials for crafting are pretty difficult to find later in the game. On the outset, this all doesn't sound too terrible. However, the performance is where the game's issue arises. The hit detection is really wonky, and you'll find your weapons constantly going through enemies when trying to make contact. So that right there, that statement isn't necessarily true with the newest version. This makes doing any kind of stealth pointless, as you won't end up making contact, getting sent back fairly far. Combine this with tons of spots where the platforming and puzzles glitch out, and Troll and I is a poorly designed game. So I would say there's only 2 things that I would really change with that review. So, not bad. Issues arise. Games issues arise. I gotta say, the game's issue arise. So, there's certain things when you write to JP that, like, you'll write it, read it a million times in your head, and it's still, like, inherently wrong. Oh, I can't put partially. 100% merited. So, that being said, though, still, decent review. I'm gonna reword a little bit of that based on our Switchmania Playcast, but again, we only played through the beginning part. I was actually going off of like what I've seen too, so I do a combination of playing it, so I get the feel. On top of it, I also see what others have talked about with it and kind of check out later playthroughs as well. And I saw all that crazy backtracking. It looked insane. I don't think I would have fun with that. So that's something we didn't get to dig deep into. So I'd say it's good to put a bow on this episode. This weekend, I will be in Phoenix, Arizona at Game On Expo. It's ran by John Lester, Gamester81, along with a lot of amazing people. This is my third year going in a row.
Nice.
Super fun. As always, Master Daniel Pacino will be there. He played Johnny Cage in Scorpion. He'll be preparing his liver because we'll be doing a lot of crazy drinking at the end, which is hilarious. It's fun, though. So he'll be out there. They're also going to have a complete Pokemon reunion from those members of the cartoon, as well as the voice of Mario is going to be there.
Nice.
So that's going to be pretty cool. And then a lot of other YouTubers will be out there just hanging out, having fun. Buddy Riggs will be there, Radical Reggie, we'll be all hanging out. And I will be doing a panel to kick off the convention on Friday, with Nerdy Nick on YouTube. Really cool dude. He'll be dressed up as Buff Mario through the convention, and he's a really built lifter dude, but he does tons of Let's Plays and live streams, so definitely check him out on YouTube as well.
Nice.
So I'll do a good, what I picked up at the convention next week on the Playcast. You can find me at HagensAlley.com and everywhere on the internet as Hagens Alley. I actually updated, I think it's my Instagram now is no longer the Subcon 3, but it's Hagens Alley Books. So it's updated as well. And the Switch collector is at Switchopedia.com. How about you, JP?
Yep, so first and foremost is my website, jpswitchmania.com. We host reviews, weekly release posts of all the games coming out supporting English, and some that don't, and just like in the Switch Collector, games that are enjoyable without knowing the language. So that goes out every week. So if you actually sign up to the website, you'll get that sent right to your inbox, which is awesome. Something to wake up to Sunday morning and get yourself excited for the week. I live on Twitter, so just look up JP Switchmania, and I'm probably posting right now as I'm saying this. And I post 24/7 about the Switch.
JP Switchmania replied, "Well, you have to listen to our episode to see what we ultimately thought. A non-perfect game doesn't necessarily mean it's not worth playing."
Exactly.
Switchmania 2 minutes ago. Yeah.
2 minutes ago.
He literally posted during the Playcast, people.
I don't stop anymore,
but
forever. I like to focus on the physical, but of course I'll talk digital as well. We post our reviews on there. Any new pre-orders, deals, things that I find, I post there. So if you want something up to date on the Switch, follow me on Twitter. If you like to see pretty pictures, follow me on Instagram at JPSwitchmania. I post all the new releases that I pick up, and you can also follow my ongoing original Game Boy CIB collection on Instagram. Then, of course, there's YouTube. So JP Switchmania, I post unboxing videos, and we actually are hosting the audio YouTube version of the Switchmania Playcast on my YouTube channel, so you can check it out there. And then, just for Switchmania Playcast, we are on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, on YouTube. I mean, we're trying to be on every single format, so however you listen to podcasts, we'll be there for you. And again, just like Jeffrey said, Switchopedia.com. That is where you want to go to keep track of the upcoming Kickstarter campaign.
Yep, and we will put a bow on this episode. Thanks, everybody, for getting to the end.
Yeah, thank you.
See you next week.
See you next week.